Start streaming. Did it work? Are you on the channel?
Everybody loves it when technology starts this way. Hey everybody, welcome to our marathon session. Our goal is to answer 100 people's questions about starting your website. Whether that's your niche selection, monetization, whatever. So we have a phone number posted here that you can ask your questions. We're also going to try to get some from chat. If you're a Project 24 member, you can go into Project 24 in the community. We have a post there. You can post by text, but everybody else, we'd love to have you call in. So we'll kind of wait for our phone number to start ringing here, and then we'll be taking questions live. So I think this stream could be like 8 hours
really
long.
It could be pretty short.
So people can kind of pop in and out and ask their questions and stuff. We just wanted to have some fun today. So we have stick figures drawn on the board. Is the phone number on there, by the way?
Yeah, you'll be up in just a second.
All right, post the phone number up.
It was supposed to be, that's just how it goes.
So we have 100 stick figures that I drew. They are nice. There's like mom,
there's
dad,
a whole row of them you can't even
they're
see.
families. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
On there, we'll delete one every time. We'll just wipe somebody out of a family. It's really tragic. Every time we get a call until we can get to the 100 people helped on your site. So I wanted to first thank Lisa in Project 24, posted today. Give her a little congratulations. She is up to 1,000 page views a day now on her site, and she's only 7 months into the site. So I'm really excited about that one. To make sure to send her our best congratulations. All right, you got the phone number on there?
It should be up now. Sorry guys, it was supposed to work.
It's in Project.
There it
it's
is.
In the YouTube
it's up.
now.
It's up on the
All
YouTube.
right, great. You can call us. We'll take your call right here.
Or you're welcome to submit your questions in the comments as well.
Cool.
Let's see.
Nobody wants to talk to us. This makes
Yeah,
me feel
apparently.
bad. It actually is hurting. my
Okay,
feelings.
we do have some questions here in the comments here. Okay, so this isn't about starting a site. Would you be interested in running a competition to win a site or an audit consult with us? We actually are running a competition or a contest to work with us for 2 days. All you gotta do is comment on a YouTube video. So there you go. Are you guys using 56K internet? No, we're fixing that right now. Okay, sorry, I'm going back through old questions here.
Oh yeah.
All right, somebody's asking, what do you think of a dog niche site? So that's a good question for this call. If you have ideas for like a niche that you're considering, and you just want to get somebody's input, our input, that would be a good thing to talk about today. So a dog niche site is, honestly, I've seen a lot of successful ones. We've seen a lot of successful sites that pick a specific breed. And like that is the theme for the whole website, is that particular breed of dog. As long as you don't pick one breed that's like super tiny, super niche, like I don't know, like a really, really, really small, like almost nobody has this breed, you're probably going to be just fine. I think it's a good topic for a niche website. All right, we're getting our first call today. Here we go.
Cleveland, Ohio.
I'm trying to answer.
My homeland.
Oh, let me get you here on speaker. All right, so who's this?
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, it's Zach. Hey, I am just a step 4 of the 16 step.
Uh-huh.
So I just wonder if I build a website from I bought a team, and they have been coming on the what you call it, the demo post and all kind of different custom post types related to that team, which help me how to develop my content later. So there are all kind of dummy posts. So I don't want the search engine like crawl my website with all the dummy text. So how do I keep my website up and running and ready for Google search engine optimization? Ready? Why I don't have to delete all of the domain posts because I will just edit them later. Make it easier, faster, and convenient for me to upload new content with those. That's it.
I think what you're asking is the demo content on the site, if that's gonna slow things down with Google.
Yeah, is that the question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, when a website is brand new, it can take 2 weeks for a new post to be indexed anyway, and so I don't think it's going to hurt anything to have the demo content on there temporarily while you're kind of adding stuff into the site.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And also, like, that demo content, as you start adding content to the site, you're going to delete the demo post. But those are so common, Google knows what they are. All right, hey, somebody else just tried to call and then they hung up on us.
Quite a few kind
Okay, somebody asked about the Amazon Affiliate Globalizer plugin. That it hasn't been updated in 3 years. Do we still recommend it?
No.
In fact, if that's listed still, we need to take that down.
No, yeah, and
that's right, Zach. Call back. There's not a great plugin for this. We had a plugin developed for this, and it's for Project 24 members that needs some upgrading as well.
Yeah.
Honestly, for right now, what I'd probably do is just
grab the
link from Amazon with your tracking.
But we are working on a new plugin that will just fix this again, but kind of needs to rewrite what we had done. All right. Okay, we have several here. In Project 24, are there over-the-shoulder videos showing the steps, like how to install the ads on the site, for example? Yeah, I mean, we have tons of over-the-shoulder kind of videos and stuff in there that'll help you get stuff. And when you can't set something up, then you can just post in the community and we all help there.
Oh. All right. Can you hear us?
Hey guys.
We're here.
I can't hear you, yeah. Okay. I actually am a member of your Project 24. Watched all the videos, done everything, even the YouTube stuff, but my concern, I've actually had an issue with identity theft, and I do travel, so I want to do the videos. I'm just curious what you guys think about the videos that don't include a picture or something like that. Is there an option for doing something like that, and what would you guys recommend, if anything?
I wouldn't say that it can't be done. This seems to be a concern for a lot of people, and you may have a legitimate reason for that, but it is going to make things more difficult. One of the really big benefits of YouTube is the amount of rapport and trust that you can build with an audience very, very quickly, because they see you, they feel like they get to know you, and so it just has a ton of value from that standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, what would it be like if I were this and you never saw my head the whole time in the video? It's really hard to connect with somebody that you've never seen, feel like you've met. We just had lunch yesterday with a Project 24 member who happened to be in town, and like, you feel like you know him already.
Yeah.
That's really neat to be able to kind of establish that relationship over video, that if you don't show your face and your personality and your real self, you miss.
Yeah, you do.
And so, does it work? Yeah. In fact, we talked about the Top 10 Zone YouTube channel. It absolutely worked. It absolutely works to do that, but it can cause problems. All right, next caller.
Hello?
Yes. Can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep. Yeah, we're good. You're good.
Alright, so I had a question. I'm thinking of getting into a niche site for drones, and SPV racing, and SPV freestyle, which is where you have the first person view with the goggles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering what your thoughts were on a site like that with e-games and stuff like that kind of coming up and being broadcast on TV. I didn't know what your opinion was.
Yeah, I think it can be great. Their DJI at least has had an affiliate program for the drones and stuff, which I haven't checked on in a little bit, but I actually made some pretty good money on it a couple of years ago when I was writing about some kind of drone photography stuff on the website. It's prime for courses. The drone market is prime for courses, because if you're going to do it commercially, you have to take the Part 107 test for the FAA in the United States. which I took, and is embarrassingly easy, but people get really nervous about it. So that people will take a course in that. I mean, it is prime for courses. It used to be more of a wild west. Now there is a lot of content about drones, and so there's competition out there for sure, but I think it's a great market.
And do you think that it'd be able to be monetized as far as ads and maybe like drop shipping with affiliate programs for different drone manufacturers?
Oh, heck yeah.
Oh, yes,
I'm not
absolutely.
worried about monetization at all. It's can you get the traffic despite the competition, in my mind.
Right, and just knowing that with anything technology related, you got to stay on the forefront of it. If you write an article 3 years from now, drones are something that at least they don't change like every 6 months.
Mm-hmm. But every year
there's going to be a new updated model.
The
and
laws
so
are different.
You're going to be updating posts or writing new posts fairly regularly. So it's not one that's going to be totally passive, but if you can stay on top of it, that can be a nice barrier to entry for other people.
All right. Hello, you're our next caller.
Hi, how are y'all doing today?
Good.
By the way, I love the content you produce and I enjoy watching it. My question is, in regard to my blog, it's been on the back burner for over a year. It's a lifestyle blog, and I'm thinking of shifting the focus of more of a caregiver blog for minorities, because in my case, I'm a primary caregiver for my father, and we're raised in an Asian household pretty much, just to see my background. My question is this a viable niche to monetize off of? And what would be some approaches to take in terms of monetizing if it's viable at all?
Right, so a site on caregivers for minorities
Or for elderly.
or for elderly. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so monetization on there, I definitely wouldn't say there's not an opportunity for monetization. Any site that can get traffic, as long as it's a clean topic, which that one is, and can get substantial traffic, particularly on a lot of the ad networks, like you can do really well if you can have a high percentage of US-based traffic. You're going to be able to do well with ads there. I would say that there's probably less stuff you're going to do like with Amazon, but I think that's totally fine. I wouldn't have that be at all a deterrent. If you're writing content for caregivers, people that want to be caregivers, or if you're writing that in particular, I think that there could potentially be room for courses or ebooks or things like that. If you're writing more for people who need a caregiver or who have an elderly parent or something, and they're looking at that kind of stuff, again, I don't know. I think that there's plenty of opportunity for information-based products. I don't have any reservations.
Yeah, I think it worked great.
Okay.
All right.
We're getting a question on the chat. First of all, I know it's hard to hear the callers. Don't worry about it. We'll repeat the question. What's the absolute minimum search volume to go for a buyer intent keyword, such as tennis net for sale? Okay, so this is a valuable keyword, and he's just wondering how low is too low. Well, first of all, you aren't going to know the search volume. Anybody who says that you're going to know the search volume is wrong. You aren't going to know until you rank number 1 on Google. That's the only way to know. And what I would probably say is it depends on how valuable it is. I mean, if this is you're going to get $1,000 affiliate commission, which they're out there, then I don't care if it's 10 a day. Right? But if it's something cheaper, then you're going to want a whole lot of search volume. Generally, our bar is 1,000 page views a month per post that we write. That's what we're shooting.
Yeah, if you think you're going to be able to get that, then you're in good shape. And some of them are only going to get 300, and some of them are going to get 5,000. But if you're shooting for that on average, you're probably doing all right.
Hi, you're our next caller.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
I just have 2 quick questions. So I was working on having a website that's kind of dormant, so like here, because I didn't know what to do with it. Is it okay to still use that website, or do you think I'm better off starting with a new domain completely?
Sorry, I didn't quite catch. What was the issue with it? I know you said you're not really using it or haven't used it in a while. What's the issue?
Yeah, I mean, I'll start using it. I did the bare minimum as far as articles or anything like that goes.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if there's any point still working on doing it, or have I done any actual damage, like just having it sitting at any time for a year?
Gotcha.
Okay, so his question is he had an old site that he just didn't have much content on and stuff, and now he's wanting to get serious about it.
Right.
So he's wondering, did he do damage
To
to
the
it by
domain.
not having much
Yeah.
on there? No,
No.
it's going to be just fine. There's nothing to rank. It was this teeny little site, and as soon as it starts building up, it's going to be just fine. Don't feel like you've damaged a domain name just by not putting much on it the first couple of even years that you owned it.
All right, you're next caller.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, I'm a huge fan of your channel,
Well, thanks.
and you provide a lot of value. So, first of all, am I audible?
Yes. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. So the thing is that I'm from a country where Amazon does not directly make bank transfers to the affiliate. So my question is, what do you think is the right way to go about for somebody who is from a country where Amazon does not directly make a bank transfer? Do you think it's worthwhile to set up a company in US remotely and open a bank account there?
Okay, good question.
I'm already getting some traffic, and I've not started monetizing it yet. So, and I want to know if you're aware of somebody, or if you're aware of people from such countries like India, and how do they usually go about dealing with this issue?
Okay, good question. Yeah, so he's asking, you're in a country that Amazon not only isn't in, but also just doesn't pay out to, right?
Mhm.
So what do you do? Do you set up a business in the US?
Right, and we have Project 24 members
All over the world,
everywhere
yeah.
using the Amazon programs from all kinds of different countries, and so I wouldn't really worry about it. You can be in Canada and start,
Yes.
with the US Amazon store, you're fine.
And that's exactly right. So like if you live in a country that doesn't have an Amazon store, but you have an audience that is in a country that does have an Amazon store,
Just sign up for the US
sign up for
Amazon
the US,
Associates. You're set to go.
exactly, and they'll mail you a check.
Mhm.
So that just hasn't been an issue.
Right. All right, we have a few questions in Project 24 that we should take.
Yes.
We'll take a couple rapid fire. Kimberly C. Star says, how well do parenting niche sites do with monetization? They do great with ads. That's what an ad provider wants.
Yeah.
Is a family. They want something that's just kind of a clean, approachable niche. Parenting isn't controversial kind of thing. So a great place to be for that. In terms of like affiliate, can be tougher, but you could recommend baby products, things to do with your kids, vacation, travel. So there's a lot to do. Courses, maybe. I think it could work, but it's not as obvious as some other niches for monetization other than ads.
Yeah, I would say that the bigger difficulty with parenting niche sites is just finding your niche within parenting that's not overly crowded, because it is a pretty crowded space.
All right. Stever1912 in Project 24 says, could you go a little bit more in depth regarding niche selection? Do you have any benchmarks you use when reviewing competition? So really there's one benchmark for reviewing competition, and it's just a simple matter of, can I create myself a hit list that I feel is viable? So it's more about the competition per article rather than the niche as a whole. There are some niches as a whole that I've just done a lot of niche selection in, and I just know it's going to be hard to find a crack. For example, fitness. It's going to be really hard to find a crack in there somewhere. There are some of those things, but generally, if you want to know what the competition is, start making a hit list, do your search analysis, try to find those cracks of good articles to write. If you can find them, then you're set to go. Can't find them, then this is a pretty competitive space.
Yeah. The next question here is, when it comes to sizing up competition and deciding whether or not a topic is worth attempting, that's where they freeze up. What tips do we have for sizing up the competition? You know what? Like, on any particular topic, you do the alphabet soup method, that Google auto suggests. You come up with kind of a list of different things that you could potentially write. I just go do that Google search, like the exact Google search that I think should lead people to my website, and actually click on the things that rank at the top of that list. So there are some rules of thumb that we've talked about, like forums and stuff are going to be usually easy to beat, unless it's a query that a forum really is probably the best answer.
And, yeah, which an
sometimes
example
happens.
of that would be like, something where you're just kind of looking for advice,
Yeah.
and rather than information. Something like, is it safe to stay in this particular neighborhood of Havana? Like, a blog post, a really in-depth thing could work, but also just like 10 people's benchmark of like, yeah, I felt great there, I didn't feel good there.
Yeah.
That's actually a pretty good result because you can hear from a lot of people. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And so what I would do is like try to put yourself in the shoe of the person who's doing that Google search, and then go look at the content that's out there and think, is this what I need? Is this what I want? And if you find that the content that's out there is lacking in any way, that's a crack that you can exploit.
Yeah. All right, we'll take the next question on the phone here. Hi, you're our next caller. What's your question?
Hey guys, I have a question about the snippet.
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of confused about the strategy for it. On one of your posts, it said that a lot of people don't actually click on the snippet to kind of get the information and run. And is the point of the snippet to just give that factual information, or to leave some sort of a tease in there for them to go to the website?
Good question. So he's asking that when he's working on getting a snippet, he's not sure if he should write in the text some kind of way to get
get people to actually click on it.
I wouldn't do that. If you want to stand a chance of ranking for the snippet, you just gotta, bam, nail the answer and move on. The way you can tease and get the click still is with the title of the article. Maybe you have whatever, how heavy is a dirt bike? And you just answer the question. Most adult dirt bikes weigh approximately 185 pounds. And that's your answer. Don't put in the text that you're hoping to get as the snippet, but click here for more.
Right.
You won't rank that way. But your title could be how heavy is an adult dirt bike with 32 actual examples. And then people say, ooh, I do want to see what the examples are, something like that.
Yep, great tip. All right, next call. Oh, we lost him. Sorry.
What do you think of that?
I think he's gonna call right back. Yep, there's one.
All right. Hi, you're our next caller. What's your question?
Hello.
Hello.
All the way from the UK. How are you doing? Not so good. He's having a tough day. Hi, you're our next caller.
Oh, hello, Jim and Nishy. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you could give me any advice on doing a website for like a large city like London or New York. Do you think that's viable? I know you did put in one of your spreadsheets that said New York could be a good option to do a site, and I'm thinking, is it too small, or would you go niche on it? Because obviously you say New York City is one that I was thinking of. Do you think it's too small of a niche or not?
We have talked about that before, and I think we've even given the example of somebody doing a website about Yellowstone National Park, and we're like, yeah, but how many people are you going to get, because it seems kind of niche, and lots of people visit Yellowstone every year, just like lots of people visit New York, and we kind of hedged on that one, and I'm kind of backing off of that. I think that what you do want to look at, though, is like how many people visit that city every year. That's kind of a good number to start with, because let's say that it's a city that gets 100,000 tourists a year. That's going to be kind of tough to ever get a sizable enough amount of traffic. But it's good to take into account, like, for example, in the Yellowstone example, there are lots of people that search Yellowstone just because it's interesting for school projects. There's people that search Yellowstone for because they want to know if the Yellowstone volcano is going to blow, and so the same I think could be said for a city-based website. I think that if there's a reasonable amount of tourism and reasons why people would want to search that, even if they're not going to visit, it isn't too niche. A New York City, a London, a Dublin, any of these places that do tend to get a reasonable amount of tourist traffic.
New York City,
easy.
Gets a lot of traffic.
And I think London for sure just gets a lot of visitors and stuff.
Yeah, the question isn't search traffic for me; it's just competition.
Sure.
There's a lot of content out there. All right, our next call's from Kenya. Can you hear us?
From Kenya.
Hi.
I'm calling hello.
Yes, can you hear us?
7 months old, and I have a couple of children. So, and I have approximately 5K in a month.
How many page views a month?
5K.
Okay.
And I'm motivated with Apple and Amazon affiliates. And I haven't got any cash yet, any commission.
Okay, so you're wondering how to get started with monetization on the site?
And I'm already monetized the site.
Okay, sorry, we're having a little bit of trouble hearing you. Were you able to get
no,
get
not
the
really.
question out?
Can you try just typing that question into on the
Sorry, must
live?
have just been the call.
Yeah, sorry.
Speak English great. It was just hard to hear the call. All right, hi, you're our next caller.
Hi, this is Marcus. How are you?
Good.
Life's good. So listen, I'm in the real estate marketplace, and I have a lot of experience in different fields within real estate by way of residential, commercial, investment, flipping, and kind of runs the gamut. And so I thought about the website is that I would really try to become the authority across the board, but I understand like there's a lot of different segments within each of those that I could just target, and like I could just go over after flipping because I'm really good at that, and I can do it after investing. And so I'm just trying to understand, like, in narrowing things down, what would be the best approach that you guys think I should do?
All right, so he wants to make a site about real estate, and he's wondering he's had a lot of experience with flipping, selling real estate, a bunch of different things. Do you think just real estate, or go after a part of it?
Man, real estate is extremely competitive, mostly because in every particular market, there's a lot of people that are paying a lot of money to rank locally. Guys, we got this bell to ring every time we answered, but it's just going so fast that
It would just drive me nuts if you were to this every.
So, I mean, picking an aspect of real estate. So, like, if you wanted to make a website that focused on like luxury real estate or vacation real estate, I think would be an easier space. I know I was talking to a real estate agent here in the local area, and he said for every real estate term that's in the area, this one guy ranks because he spends like $40,000 a month on his SEO agency, and they are just killing it for him. So I do think that general real estate just might be, I don't know, it might be tough to create enough content.
How big is your content? Yeah, exactly that. Like, we have on Income School, the goal is help you make money through your own efforts to provide wealth for your family. That's Income School's mission. What we have talked about for the last year is just blogging. That's what we've talked about. It's SEO, websites, etc. We're now starting to talk a lot about YouTube because we're getting crazy good results there. But we've also talked about other things like, hey, should we do a YouTube video every once in a while about just investing or this or that, or flipping houses? It's just whatever to make money. And it's like our content isn't big enough yet. We haven't filled where we are yet. And so why are we going to take on this new thing? Over 20 years, could we take on a new employee who now makes a podcast about flipping houses or whatever to make money? Sure. But we want to make sure our content is big enough first. Yeah. So, if I'm starting a new website today about photography, if I'm one guy and my biggest vision for this is I earn $10,000 a month for my family, me, just one employee, then no, I wouldn't do it about general photography. I'd do something like night photography. So it's just how big is your content? Can you fill the space you're going to go into?
And if your dreams are to go really big in the long run, then pick a URL that that allows for that. Like Income School allows for us to talk about anything related to making money. But then focus yourself based on the content that you're capable of creating. So if you're alone by yourself, I'm probably gonna maybe pick a URL that's real estate, but I'm probably going to
Talk about flipping.
mostly talk about flipping or luxury real estate or something else. I'm going to quick answer a question here because it's fast. Anthony T is asking what page builder the new theme uses, Akabato uses. It doesn't have a built-in page builder, but it is compatible and works very well with Elementor and with Divi's page builder. Those are each just a plugin that you can use if you want to build custom pages.
Yeah, so that's our brand new WordPress theme,
Yep.
Akabato. You can get it now at incomeschool.com/Akabato. All right, our next call I think is from Vancouver, BC.
Oh, I know.
You are on.
So I'm brand new. I'm very inspired by you guys. You're doing a lot of amazing things. So it's a great thing that's coming to you. I was wondering, with regards to starting from scratch, would it be smart to pick something that's like evergreen, obviously smart, and what about going global? Can you use multiple TLDs from the beginning and gain more exposure that way, like .com, .co.uk, .com.au, .ca, and then you could, I don't know, essentially try to attract people globally?
Good question.
Yeah, so I would not do this, to make your website and then your website.co.uk, your website.ir, or whatever, IN, all the different country domains. If you build a massive website, it could be possible to do a second language version of the site that makes some sense, but I mean, we're talking massive. But just from the beginning doing this, not something I would do. James Sadler sent a, what do you call that?
Super chat or
Super chat, yeah. Mega chat. That was really good. What's this YouTube you guys are talking about? It says, any tips for convincing my wife that I need to do Project 24? Oh, see? Dang it. I've had a webinar planned forever that I've been wanting to do with my wife on exactly this topic. So James, Freddie needs to put it on the schedule and force me.
It is on the schedule.
It's on the
It is
schedule.
on the schedule.
2 more weeks.
Okay, so a few things. One is you have to have the same dream. If your wife is very happy with where you are, getting W-2 income from a job, and she's content, then it's going to be tough to understand why in the world you're wanting to stay up till 11 o'clock every night working on this project, right? So first, have the same dream. And second, understand that this is working toward the dream. I think a lot of, not just wives, it can work either way, of course, spouses, when they see you working on the computer endless hours and no dollars coming from it, it's hard to understand.
Yeah.
Because if you online business this weekend, you come home with $50, right? So it's hard to understand what the heck, you're going to do this for a year and not see anything, and then all of a sudden the internet's going to start, it can feel kind of magic.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, and I totally agree with those ones. If you can get your spouse on the same page in terms of like the overall goal, the overall dream, then it's a lot easier to get them on board with this, seemingly pie in the sky making money from the internet.
I shouldn't do this because my wife didn't like the last time I did it. Give your wife my wife's cell phone number. Nobody call it except your wife. Your wife is the only person allowed to call this. Her number is 208-963-2980. Just give her my wife's number, and my wife can explain how it was difficult in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, money starts pouring, and it's like, okay. And my wife has always been super
nice,
supportive. But it is hard to understand. So,
Cool.
have them chat. I'm serious, but only your wife.
Don't call my wife.
I gave my wife's cell phone number out in a webinar like a year ago,
Yeah.
and she gets calls still
Yeah.
from it.
All right. Our next question.
Our stream health is failing us a little bit.
Stream health is failing us. Oh,
Okay. Next, you're on the line.
Frames are dropping.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. What's your question?
So I had a question starting to do with reviews. So I was wondering your thoughts on editing the snippets more like some, put like fire guide or like reviews in the snippet, and then also, what do you think on the scheme of like putting the 5 stars in the schema? Let you know your thoughts.
Awesome. Good question.
Yeah, first of all, putting the 5 stars in the schema, it really makes you stand out in the search results. And that's why we built it into Akabato, so that you can do that. Very, very, very few themes are allowing people to do that. To have that rich text that Google can read, to put, if it's a recipe, to put the cards there, or an image of the thing, or a book review, or in this case, a product review. So yes, definitely schema you should implement. Yeah.
Cool. Good question. Thanks.
All right. Let me take one from Project 24. I have a YouTube channel with 8,500 subscribers. This is Mower Man, our buddy. So everybody check out, if you're on YouTube, open another tab and search the Mower Man YouTube channel. This is how it's done.
Yeah.
This is a tiny niche, really tiny, and he's kicking butt. 8,500, and now 8,700 people are on his YouTube channel subscribing to lawnmower repair, right? From a guy in the UK who's giving lawnmower repair tips. Like, you'd think, come on. And he's doing really well with it. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
So let's see if there was a question in there. I just gushed on his stuff. He's trying to link from his YouTube description to the articles on his site to improve EAT, expertise, authoritativeness, and trust. Does embedding my YouTube vids in the articles also establish EAT? No, because anybody can do that. Does anybody know the best practices for promoting EAT between a YouTube channel and a website? So one, link them. You can have on your YouTube channel, you can have it linked to that website. So that's the first and most obvious way to do that. Then, in your YouTube channel, they're going to get it when you're linking frequently from your description to your website. And also link from your website over there. One, I think, great way to do this, if you're using, let's see his website. His website is repairlawnmowersforprofit.com. Repairlawnmowersforprofit.com. If you go to his website, you'll see he's using Akabato and Ezoic, which Ezoic seems to be throwing the design off a bit. It needs to be kind of worked on. Just contact Ezoic and say, fix this, it looks terrible. And they'll fix those ads, by the way. But those little images you have below the hero image, you can make one of them a link to the YouTube channel to start sending some people over to the YouTube. YouTube loves that. When your channel is starting sessions, because an email, a post on your website is sending people to YouTube to start a session there, YouTube loves that. And so that can be another way to establish the connection between those two.
Awesome.
And hey, let's all go give Mower Man a subscribe on YouTube.
That's awesome.
It's time to see somebody doing this right.
Another quick question here from Project 24. Thomas is asking about orphaned pages. And what does that exactly mean? So if you're starting up a site and you don't know what we're talking about with that, let me explain this to you real quick. An orphaned page is a page or post that exists on your website that can't be accessed via the menu, from the home page. Every page on your site that you want to do well from an SEO standpoint, at least, sometimes you do want to kind of hide a page. You don't want it. But any page that you want to do well from an SEO standpoint needs to be accessible through the menu. It might be that it takes 4 clicks to get there, but if you can't get to it from the home page, then it's orphaned.
A poor little orphan child.
Yes.
You gotta help it out. Make it possible to navigate from your home page to every page on your website. Now, if you're submitting a sitemap, something like that, it can help. But you should be able to navigate from the home page to any page on your website pretty easily. All right, our next caller's on the phone.
Hello?
Yeah.
So I'm able to locate a lot of low competition key phrases for response posts, but the answers would be really short, right? Am I still supposed to be trying to get 1,500 words out of this?
Give me an example of what you're having a hard time writing.
Like, why is Alexa flashing yellow?
Okay, great question. So we did this a lot on our Drill Warrior website. where it was exactly that kind of question. Why is Alexa flashing yellow? And you say, well, it's because there's some kind of general error. I don't know, whatever it is. Or it's because it, has run out of power and now it's on battery backup, whatever. You can say that in a sentence, and then we're just going to try to add value as much as possible. So maybe you're going to answer the question really simply, then you're going to copy and paste the section from the user manual of what they say, and then maybe you've gone through some forums of people that have this yellow flashing error, and you could say, here are 10 other things that could also be causing the yellow flashing error there. You're really just diving in deep. It's like as boring as you could possibly get about it, but otherwise, if you just give the one sentence answer, now everybody's got to go still search all those pages. So just go as deep as you possibly can. Don't write words to write words, though.
Exactly.
Of course, you can. Don't feel like I'm winning because I made mine 3,000 words. That's only kind of true. It's make your post as helpful as possible, and if that happens to encompass 3,000 words, awesome.
That's the exact approach I would take. If you could say, I searched this or I've gone through this in a whole bunch of different forums, and I find that 80% of the time, this is the problem that most people have. So try that first. Turn it into maybe a little bit of a troubleshooting guide, whatever's going to be most helpful to the user.
All right, we have a question in Project 24. What would you consider to be the new floor for content volume? It used to be 30 articles for a starter site, but has since morphed into a larger number of articles in YouTube and Pinterest. Obviously, with the newer requirements for establishing authority, it should make sense to increase your volume of content, but the question really boils down to how much is enough? This is a good question.
It is a good question.
It's one we get a lot. So what he's talking about is we had several examples of websites that we've created with 30 posts that were making significant income.
Yeah.
I still see that sometimes.
It's just sometimes.
I wouldn't say that Google has somehow changed that you can't do that anymore. What I would say is our experience has changed. That what we see is too many people shoot so low. I'm going to write 30 pieces of content and walk away and hope I have a business.
Yeah.
That it's just like the failure rate is way too high. Remember, this is your first crack at it. You're going to do a marginal job on search analysis. This is your first time ever doing it.
Yeah.
You're going to do a marginal job on writing your blog posts, even with your best efforts. You're going to do a marginal job with YouTube because it's your first video. Some people are going to do a little better, some people are going to do worse, but your best efforts are probably going to be marginal. It's just like if you were starting a business in any other industry, your very first plumbing job is going to be okay. The very first house you build is going to be okay. And so don't expect to be that one that can put a very little effort and just kill it your first time. And so I wouldn't say that there's anything that has changed in Google that somehow that's not possible anymore.
Right.
It's just that we saw so many people putting the bare minimum into their business and then be like, why didn't I make money?
Right.
That it's like, it's just not a good approach. I want you to have the approach of I am going to dominate this business and put everything I can into it. And then if you are half of the success you expect, you're still successful.
Right. In some niches, EAT is going to be very important, and 30 articles just isn't going to cut it.
Like in health and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
That's going to be tough.
But there are still plenty of spaces, especially in the things that we like to do, hobbies, and still just a lot of just informational-based stuff, where the competition's low and 30 articles could still earn you a lot of income. I wouldn't put a single floor number on it. I'd say just let's make the best business that we can. I wouldn't go below 30 ever. I won't let up until at least 30, and the number's probably higher just because of the experience that we've had.
Yeah, exactly. I want 30 to be a starting point.
Yeah.
Start that. It's a good starting point. You can get significant traffic and consequently income from doing that. But just know that if you go in with that attitude, you're going to get your butt kicked.
Yep.
Go in with the attitude of I'm going to be the best at this.
Yep. Awesome. Good questions. Jim's going to step out for a sec. Freddie's going to take his place.
We are 25% done.
Wow.
We got 3 mega questions
That's
as
all
well.
around.
Oh, sweet. We got some mega questions coming in here. Okay, we've talked about this a little bit, but I will answer this one. Any tips for YouTube without filming yourself? You've got to make... Okay, so it really depends on what your approach is for YouTube. If your goal here is to build rapport so that you can sell an information product, showing yourself is going to be important. If your goal is to get a lot of views, then really making the content really interesting in addition to informational is good. And so you may be able to do that. There are channels that are getting millions of views with animated videos. That said, if that channel tried to sell me an ebook, or if that channel tried to sell me a course, I'm not going to buy it because I don't have any relationship with the person trying to sell it to me. They are an unknown entity, even if they make cool videos. So it really does depend on sort of what you have in mind there. If you're taking the Project 24 approach to YouTube, I do think that having yourself in the video is going to be an important aspect of it.
Yeah.
The next super chat. For SEO, should we no follow affiliate links? I think that is kind of the standard. You should do that. Yeah, do it. It's a good idea. What is the process to finding those little gold nuggets to write about that your competition isn't writing? I'm in the dating relationship niche. Feel free to chime in. I'm just taking
crank through them.
Yeah. No, but the little gold nuggets. There's not like there's not a tool you can use that's just gonna like give you the gold nuggets, right? You do have to go find them. Gold nuggets, like, okay, we live in a mining state. Like Idaho exists because there was gold here. And like when people first came, you could find a gold nugget in a stream, you know? But it didn't take very long before all those obvious gold nuggets were found. The same is true on the internet. In the beginning, it was easy, right?
Yeah.
But nowadays, you do have to like go sift through a lot of stuff. So the approaches that we take are still working very well for us. If, you know, what we'll usually do is following the search analysis pattern that we teach in Project 24, we are going to go on Google and we're going to find, we're going to start just typing stuff in and see what Google auto suggests. You just can't think though that you can take like the main keyword, let's say you have a website about plumbing, DIY plumbing. You can't just type in plumbing A, plumbing B, and expect that that's going to give you all of the answers. It just isn't.
Yeah. It's also all about volume. The more quantity you crank out, the more quality is going to end up coming through.
Exactly. Hey, Mower Man, thank you for the taco. You are a stand-up guy. It was fun to meet you, by the way, when we were in the UK. I think I get to knock 3 more off this list. That was fast. You guys are awesome, by the way. We love engaging with you guys. I know that we haven't been able to answer a lot of calls because we're talking while we do this, but
and it
keep
looks like
coming.
our stream has like 4 pixels. But
Really? Hey, as long as the audio keeps working,
one
we're good.
pixel for Ricky, 1 for Fred, a couple for Backboard.
Wow, I guess our
take
video
it.
stream is just not working that well. All right, let me see here. We got plenty of questions to choose from. If I was looking, this is a good question. If I were looking to start a passive income stream today, would I start with YouTube or with a niche site? It kind of depends on what my interests are, to some extent, because there are some places where a website is just going to be easy. And you're going to be able to make a great income just from the website. And you can do that without having to keep up with a certain YouTube publishing schedule and put your face on the camera. So if you're that person that just doesn't want your face on camera, you don't want to keep up with the schedule, yeah, a niche website is a great place to go. Now for me, I'm pretty used to being on camera. I'm used to people making fun of me. It's totally fine. I don't mind my face being out there. YouTube is what blogs were several years ago.
Right.
There's still it's still kind of the Wild West. There's still a lot less competition. And so it's probably where I would get started.
Yeah, we've mentioned this before. Like, if you go onto your hit list and see which ones might be a little bit higher competition, it's a lot lower than what it's going to be on Google than it is on YouTube.
Exactly. Hey, you're our next caller. What's your question?
So, I had a quick question about your Project 24. My wife wanted to sign up, but she's hard of hearing. Does your videos offer clean subtitles where it's, exact?
On Vimeo.
It's on Vimeo. I think that they create some subtitles kind of like YouTube does, but we haven't gone through and done that yet. I've had this question a few times. Thanks for the question, by the way. I have had this question a few times before, and it makes me think that at some point we need to go through that effort. But there's a lot of video content and some very long videos. So yeah, unfortunately, as of right now, we don't have exact match subtitles or closed captioning on our videos. Sorry. Okay, so good question. Can you give us some success rate percentages with your overall subscribers, Project 24 subscribers, at least the pizza level, but preferably $2,000 or more? I haven't run any numbers recently, and so whatever I would say would just be based off of perception, which, as somebody who's studied statistics, I know that that's like a huge no-no. I will say that pizza day is extremely frequent. It happens pretty fast for a ton of people. I will say that it's like every week we're getting people that are at $500, $1,000, hitting these different milestones. I don't think we have a $2,000 milestone set yet. Also, keep in mind, if you look at the timeline for Project 24, the income growth, the vast majority of it happens in the second year. And Project 24 is a year and a half old.
Yeah.
And so what is encouraging to me, though, is how many people are hitting that $1,000 mark who signed up a lot less than a year ago.
Yeah.
So there's a good rate of success, but I can't give you exact numbers. Thanks for the question. All right, we got another phone call coming in here. All right, you're on the line. What's your question?
Hello, guys. I wrote a book about coffee. I'm a former coffee farmer,
Okay.
and I started the website around the book to build my audience. I'm just starting to get traffic. I'm about 4 months into it, so yay, pizza day. But still not building much in the way of an email list. Any idea?
Okay, so email lists. Awesome. Email lists is something that we are trying to just get a little bit more sophisticated with as well. It's not that it's too complicated or anything like that, but it's just one more thing.
Yeah.
And now that we're bringing on guys like Freddie and now Nathan, Jim and I are just always working on so many things, because in addition to Income School, we're also building sites and starting YouTube channels and stuff to test this stuff out, to be able to bring you guys the newest and best all the time. So tips for an email list. I'm going to let Freddie take a stab at it, and then I'll back clean up.
Yeah, sure. One thing to note is the email marketing is just getting more and more expensive. And so when you're allocating resources earlier on in your business, email marketing is something that you're going to have to say, is it going to be worth it for me? Another thing is you just have to work on writing great copy, just being engaging. And also, Ricky was just mentioning this while we were writing emails last week for Acabado. You want to make it seem like it's from a friend rather than this big, lots of graphics and cool stuff on your emails. You want it to look more personable. And so those are kind of some of the things that we've been experiencing as we've kind of reasoned through it early on. But
yeah, absolutely. So a lot of the knowledge out there today, a lot of the kind of research into what's working shows that like these emails that clearly come from a company that have the big logo across the top and pictures all over the place, people don't read them as much. If it looks like an ad, people are less likely to read it. And so that's some advice, I guess, for the email copy itself, which is important for kind of maintaining and cultivating a good list. I do think that is in terms of maintaining and cultivating that list, having some regular content that goes out that is different than what you give anywhere else. Like if you just put something out saying there's a new YouTube video, or put something out that's like, hey, here's a new blog post on the website, here's the summary, that doesn't add a lot of value. And so if you can make the content engaging and put it out regularly but not annoyingly often, that's going to help maintain that list and maintain communication with people. And don't be worried if people unsubscribe. If they unsubscribe, they probably weren't going to buy your book anyway, or they already did. But in terms of like building up a list, I think it's important to try to establish rapport with your audience that makes them want to sign up for your list. So YouTube channels are great for that. If you're doing it with just your blog, again, the content needs to give people a reason to want to sign up for the list. And so if you can write content that's really helpful and you use the interlinking strategy that we've talked about to link to other pages, if somebody reads 2 or 3 pages or posts on your website before leaving, they're much more engaged and they're probably more likely to sign up for an email list. And then if you also have a call to action that that appears in blog posts as opposed to a pop-up or something, or in addition to some sort of that kind of thing. I'm kind of going long-winded on this one. But if you do give people that call to action in the content, in addition to making it visible on a menu or on the homepage, that kind of stuff's going to really help, especially if you're doing a good job of building rapport. Good question.
All right, you're on the line.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Yeah,
Speaker. There we go.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah, I had a question regarding a blog that I've recently started working with actively and posting more regular content. I've had a website since 2004, but I've always used it as just basically a cash register and an e-commerce site just to make credit card transactions for products that I was selling. And I created a pretty good reputation in my niche, but I never realized until recently, watching Income School, that I would be able to create revenue just by hosting a site and posting content. So it's something that I'm transitioning into. And I guess my overall question is, does the length of time that the website has existed, does that make any difference in how my content will rank in Google?
Okay, good question. Thanks for the question. To some extent, people talk about domain age and all that kind of stuff, and yes, that does have an impact. If you have a domain that's been active for a while and doesn't have any dings against it, that can help from an SEO standpoint. I don't think it necessarily gives you a huge head start. It certainly doesn't hurt you.
Yeah.
I think what's going to matter now, though, is jump on the content. You might see a little bit faster growth because of it, but nothing substantial. Nothing that you'll probably be able to measure is my guess.
Yes.
All right, next question.
Hi. Yes. Just want to say first, been listening to your videos for a while, so thanks for putting them out. I have a content idea I wanted to do about like D&D and tabletop gaming. I know that there's not a lot of competition when it comes to like websites and blogs, but there's a lot of competition in like answer sites and YouTube videos and stuff like that. Is that an area you should probably stay away from, or do you think that because there isn't a lot of website competition that there's not opening there?
Yeah, good question. Thank you. I would definitely assess the competition as a whole. If there are places where tabletop gamers tend to go, there's certain websites where they tend to go. Now, for me, looking that kind of stuff up, I'm usually jumping straight onto Google, and there's probably only a few websites I land on, and a lot of those are sort of wiki oriented. And so and that is kind of a neat thing, because people are kind of adding to the story, adding to the to that sort of world, or adding to campaigns and things and giving cool ideas. And so having that user created content, user generated content is pretty good for that particular industry. But that said, people are going to look for answers wherever they can find answers. And so I would look at this again on a sort of an article by article basis. I would start doing that search analysis and try to find specific topics to write about, and then go assess the competition. If there's an awesome wiki that is already really well covering that particular topic, and if the user created version of that content is probably better than anything you're going to be able to create, then I'd probably steer clear of that particular topic. But I think tabletop gaming is a perfectly good niche to be getting into. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Good question. Lots of questions coming in here that I was kind of hoping to get back to. Let's see. Okay, this is one I saw that I did want to answer. You can go ahead and pick up the phone,
Sure.
but I am going to answer this one here real quick. There was further questions about pop-up ads for like getting people to your email list and stuff. In general, pop-ups are a bad idea. It's a bad user experience. Google doesn't like it. People don't like it. We have seen in the past where putting a little pop-up when people go to exit your site can increase the number of people that sign up for your email list, but it could be hurting your SEO. So if you look at the trade-off there, like if I get less overall traffic but a higher percentage of them sign up, is that a good thing? And I don't, probably not. So I would probably try to have maybe even a box with a colored background that appears on certain posts or certain pages that those particular posts do a good job of building rapport and getting people to want to sign up for an email list. I would maybe put a box there that's got a colored background that says, hey, for more content like this, sign up for the email list, and it has a place for them to put in their email and their name. That's a better approach than a pop-up.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for holding.
Thanks
so
for
long.
holding.
Yeah.
Oh, are you there?
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah.
Sorry about
I
that.
just want to find out.
Yeah.
That's okay. Do you have any advice on how best to rank in the Christian niche? Do you have any advice on sort of how to rank in those kind of topics?
I would say, do you want to start with this one?
Well, I
keep
mean,
taking it. Thanks for the question, though. Good question.
Is someone else?
No, the line's still going. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry
You're
about
good.
that. Yeah, I mean, well, you guys started, what's that one called now?
It's called Purpose in Christ.
Purpose in Christ. Yeah, we changed the domain name, but Jim's actually been getting a ton of traffic on that one. He hasn't been as of late because we had to change the domain name.
Yeah, that domain name changed. Most of the time when we change a domain, it's almost just barely a hiccup. For some reason, that one was pretty substantial.
Yeah, but before we did change that domain name, Jim was able to get quite a few page visitors. When you guys did that, what was your experience? How did that happen?
I think that it's kind of the same as pretty much anything else. I think we often make the mistake of writing the content that we know people need.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's not even just the content we want them to have, it's the content we know that they need and that we know that they really want, but they don't know that that's what they're looking for yet.
Right.
And so, and that happens just all the time. So in that particular case, what Jim was doing was just looking for questions people are typing into Google, particularly related to our religion, and finding those specific questions. And then once you can figure out what people are looking for, what they're actually typing in on Google, you write content that's oriented toward answering their question, but then also gives them the stuff that you know they need.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to start with what are they looking for and then steer them toward what they need. If you just create the stuff that they need, they won't even know where to find it.
Yeah.
That's my best advice for that.
Yeah, it
For
really
any-
is
any niche.
similar to pretty much anything else, like
Yep.
you were saying. Just start with the keyword research.
All right, next caller.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so it's weird because I hear you talking and now I hear you speaking to me. My question is, I am building a brand, and so I want to supplement with the affiliate income, but I don't want my website to be full of ads because I'm promoting my brand and selling my physical products. So what strategy would you recommend to tackle that so that when you hit the site, it's not full of ads?
Awesome. Good question. I'm going to hang up and you'll hear our answer probably in a few seconds because there's a delay. You'll hear it on the YouTube Live. Thanks for the question. So how you're building a brand. You're selling something else, right? So how do you do that without making it look spammy and stuff, having ads all over the place. I would say if you're building a brand, you're probably not going to be placing ads all over your website. If you do want a few ads and you're going to sign up with an ad network or even use AdSense or something like that, that's fine. Just keep the ad placements to a minimum and only put them where you want them. For example, you might put some ads that just appear in blog content, just within the content. So if somebody comes to your website, reads a blog post, and they may or may not ever go over to the e-commerce side or to any of the other branded content where you're making money off of them. If they see a few ads in content, they're expecting that. They're used to that.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if you have blog content and you really do want to steer them from that content toward the e-commerce stuff or whatever else that you would want to send them to, then keep the ads out altogether in that sense, and just have the content, again, sell the links, give people a reason to click to go over to the e-commerce pages. If you want to do some affiliate stuff, there's a couple approaches you could take. You could build them out as a product that looks the same as your own products, and just have that link then take them over somewhere else instead of buying it directly from you. I don't like that as much. What I would rather do is in content, in the blog post, have the link, right? You say, there's this particular product that we don't sell directly, but it's a great product and I highly recommend it for these reasons. And you've talked about it in the blog post. Here's a link to go buy it from the supplier or from a distributor or whatever. And then you give them that affiliate link. I don't think that hurts your brand at all, but it does allow you to sort of subsidize the income and generate that passive income. And again, I would just keep ads to a minimum. If you don't want them on all your pages, either don't put them in the sidebar or don't show the sidebar on your e-commerce pages.
Yeah, but this is also a great opportunity to get into YouTube if you're trying to build a
that
full
too.
all-around brand. And you can do affiliate marketing on YouTube as well. Mention a product in your video, include the link in the description. That's really the best way we found right now to get into YouTube and monetize it.
Yeah, awesome. All right. Okay, somebody's asking about making YouTube videos in your niche. Can you record Skype interviews with other professionals? And can I use the content from the interview to make a blog post? Those are two great ideas. Absolutely. Interviewing people, we've done it on this channel.
Yeah.
As long as the person you're interviewing knows that they're being recorded and that the purpose of the interview is to share parts or the whole interview on YouTube, that's totally fine. Skype has functionality built in to be able to record the calls if you want to go that route. Yeah, absolutely. And then using the information from the interview for a blog post, absolutely, go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, good question. All right, next caller. You're on. What's your question? Oh, we lost you. Just give it another try. We're here. Oh, here we go. All right, you're on with Income School. What's your question?
Well, I'm just trying to figure out, for the most part, I'm getting ready to jump into Project 24. And I think probably one of the biggest things for me is trying to find a niche. And I know I went ahead and downloaded your spreadsheet, and I've been going through it, but I guess I really don't know. I'm trying to figure out, like for example, golf. I like golf, but golfing seems like a very broad type subject.
Yeah.
So would you, something like that, would you kind of take that down a little bit further and to like, to be more specialized, I guess. Well,
Great.
kind of trying to get at.
Awesome. Great question. So, whether it's golf or any other, I would, sorry, whoever I hung up on, I'm sorry. Okay. So would you specialize? So I'm thinking about golf and I'm like, I wouldn't want to make a website. Maybe you would, but I wouldn't want to make a website just about putting.
Right.
Or just about driving. But what you might do is take like all of people that are interested in golf and try to pick a sub audience, right? And so what I might be looking at is like people that are interested in just learning golf, beginners that just want to play and have fun. Or maybe I'm going to look for the type of people who are interested in getting into like the PGA stuff, amateurs that want to take it up to the next level and get into that professional. Or maybe I want to target people who are wanting to play golf like in high school, right? And just want tips for that, for just how to do well on the team, how to get on a team, tips for just improving your golf game for adolescents. So what I might do is pick, again, a URL, a domain name that's a little bit broader, something that's more golf in general, but then I would gear my content toward a specific sub audience of people. But again, I don't know, maybe I think you totally could make a website all about like getting out of the sand trap. How to get out of sand traps. You maybe could do that, or like a whole website about putting. You could probably do that. I think it would be less interesting to me. So I'd probably niche down by picking more of a sub audience.
Yeah, definitely. When you have something as broad as a sport, but something that tons of people are interested in, there are a bunch of ways to just funnel it down to a more manageable competition size.
Orange Jeep Dad sends us a super chat. How to use Divi for appearance at the speed of Acabado. The real answer is that's the trade-off. If you're using a page builder, they're generating a whole lot of custom CSS, and it is just going to take longer to load. I think that in order to be able to get that look and still have it be fast, you would have to actually like custom code that page so that it would load at that level. And the reason that these themes exist is because most of us aren't like intense hardcore coders. So good question though, I appreciate that. All right, our next caller is on the line. What's your question?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey.
Nice haircut, Freddie.
Hey, thank you.
Hey, so my question is the difference between YouTube. So I've got a niche, and if I search, I've got a bunch of items on my hit list. And if I search on YouTube, they're not showing up. Now, you say that's a good thing, but I'm just curious. Do you think there's a difference between YouTube and just general Google searches? Because these are not super niche questions that I'm putting in. They seem to be legitimate, questions that. So there seems to be a difference between who's searching. Is it, do you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's a good question, and I think I get the gist of it. So he's asking about like, is there a difference between like YouTube search and how they present the results? Because you do a search that seems like somebody would have created this content, and it's not pulling up anything on point. And it's not that there's a major difference in. Like if you search something specific and it doesn't come up, it's either because the video itself and the channel just are not like YouTube's just not showing them, or it's because that content isn't there. It's surprising how many specific topics we'll go search and they're just not on YouTube yet.
Yeah.
And that is a good opportunity. I would say that there's kind of two angles to YouTube. There is the straight up search analysis angle, which is awesome when you're starting a new channel, because your content isn't just going to get shown that much as a recommended video in those early days when you don't have much content yet. And so you do want to create some of those really search-driven type videos. But eventually you get to where like it doesn't matter what people are searching for. Your content's going to come up simply because it's about a topic and it's a video that's similar to what other people are watching. The vast majority of our new views come from people who saw our video as a recommended video on somebody else's channel or on somebody else's video.
Yeah.
Good question. Thank you. We got another question here on the line.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, I have a question for you. I'm working, I want to make a niche site for suicide prevention for the youth. I've been working in Utah for 3 years and a half on suicide prevention for the youth for the Latinos in Spanish. I'm certified. And, we always get sponsors to pay for the manuals and the classes. And I found that it's kind of hard to get sponsors lately. So I thought, maybe I can do a niche site and I can just find a way to add people, try to get people with a valid reason to be sponsoring, like having a banner on the website or something like that. I just need to find a way so I can continue with my work on on helping the community, especially the Latino community in Utah on the rise of suicide, and it's really bad, you know. So I got the domain, I started a little bit, and then I found information on other websites, and they are huge. So I'm trying to link to them, but I'm not sure, you know, it would be a topic that is really complicated. I'm talking about copyright, copyright materials and stuff like that. I'm certified to teach the class, and I'm just hesitant to do. I don't want to use verbatim from the manual stuff. I don't know. Can you give me some idea of how what it would be? I want to be honest. To me, integrity and honesty is really, really, really key. Very, very important. And I want to keep this. I want to have it. This is the way to tell people to be honest, right?
Yeah.
So I want to have it. I want to have a blog that it can be very, very well done, but at the same time, giving really good information, because this is about life and death. This is not about people die all the time,
Right.
especially in Utah. It's huge. So I was wondering, you guys are the experts. What advice would you give me on that topic, Ricky?
Okay, so let me make sure I kind of understand the question a little bit better. So you're building this website that is based on classes that you're teaching in person, that you're certified to teach, and
Yes.
and if I heard right, you're saying that you're seeing some very large websites that have some of the same content.
Yes, yeah, they do. And then Mayo Clinic, for example, when you go to Google and I type in Spanish, prevención de suicidio en adolescentes. I know you speak Portuguese, so I know you can understand a little bit,
Uh-huh.
Prevention, prevention of the prevention of the teens for the youth. They have a lot of information. And I know there are 4 things that are running around, but I don't know about the copyright. You guys talk on the videos about not to copy things from other people. I don't want to do that. But
I see.
there's a lot of information still, but the reason of this website speaking is that to get the sponsor, to find a way to get money for the manual. The manual for the beginning for 3 years, they are expensive.
Okay.
And I'm running out of people helping, so I want to be resourceful, I want to help.
Sure. Okay, no, I think I understand the question well now. So, great. So you want to try to get traffic to the website. You find these other resources online that have good content already, but you want to be able to talk about it in Spanish as well, and you're worried about copyright and all that. I think those are good questions. The first thing is you should be careful with copyright. I think even if you're going to translate the content into another language, I wouldn't do it word for word. I would take the information that they have, use that information, digest that information, and try to add something to it. That's going to help. If you're writing about it in Spanish, that Google's not going to penalize you for that, because they're not going to recognize. They're not even going to probably even to be able to generate that income for your for this organization.
I'm tagging you out.
Jim's back in the room. It's his turn. We got another call coming in,
All right.
and you probably need to answer that one too.
Oh, yeah.
Next.
All right, you're our next question.
Is Freddie your son?
Not my son. He's not that much younger than me.
Not unless I had a baby when I was like 5.
Have you erased recently?
Yeah.
Okay.
I erased the last 5. Oh, we lost the last person.
Oh, probably because of my joke.
Yep. No, I'm not either of their sons. Hey, you're our next question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Awesome. Hi. So I love that you guys are doing this. This is so cool. Thank you so much. I wanted to ask, I have purchased up to like 20 different domain names, and I know it'll take time to build everything, but I'm also looking at setting up an LLC to put everything under. And then as they build, I'm wondering, do I need to, and I know this is a legal question, but do I need to put them, under the LLC with a DBA? And then what would you guys recommend for trademarking some of those to protect the brand? Some of them don't really matter, but I know you guys did the Project Rexburg, so I'm just curious what you might suggest for that.
Okay, so our disclaimer, I am a lawyer, but I'm not your lawyer, and you need to seek competent legal advice in your jurisdiction. But here's what we do in our business. We put our websites in an LLC. The benefit of an LLC in the United States is, well, several, but one being limited liability, right? Which, frankly, for website owners isn't that big of a deal. Because who really is going to be suing you? You know, you're not taking investments into your business. If somebody doesn't like your digital product, just give them a refund and have them go home. It's just, there's not a whole lot of risk as if like we were working in real estate or something that's just much, much more litigious. But still, I think if your website's earning significant money, it's probably a good practice if you have other assets to protect. Okay, so our websites are in there. Now the question, do we need a DBA? That means doing business as for the websites. Well, there are a couple different ways to approach this. Generally, a DBA is cheap. In Idaho, it's like $8 to get a DBA. And so, yeah, and we do get them. We're not great at it, but usually we do for our websites. And so it's just, outdoortroop.com doing, or Improve Photography, or, can't even keep things straight. Income School LLC is doing business as Outdoor Troop. But you can kind of get around that a little bit, even though that's our best practice, by just putting clearly on the website that, that this is a product of Income School. Just like you may see, PayPal is a product of eBay. I don't think they are anymore, but something like that. So it's pretty common. The .com doesn't necessarily mean that's the business, and people understand that. And so as long as you're open with that and make it very clear, you should be okay. There's something called undisclosed principal liability that basically means, hey, I thought I was doing business with Outdoor Troop, never heard of Income School, so now you can't say that you're Income School. And so every person you're doing business with needs to know what the parent company is so that you can retain that liability. And so that's something to keep in mind. Now, trademark is the next part of it. So we aren't registering trademarks. There are advantages to registering a trademark. For example, now you have your date that you kind of have priority or preference for that trademark, but you get a trademark just by using it. You don't have to register a trademark to have it. Income School is a trademark of Income School LLC. If somebody made incomeschool.co.uk, we would definitely come after you. We care about that trademark. We haven't yet registered it. We probably should at this point, but I wouldn't feel like that's kind of a first step, something you need to do. If it turns into a big business, yeah, you probably should, but I wouldn't go crazy there because a trademark just protects the source of the product or service that you're creating, and it's gained by using it. So just make your website and you already have it. All right, now we skipped this guy in the super chat.
Yeah, we did.
I say, Freddie is your son. You make me laugh too much. But he said, is programming a profitable niche? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I know there's a ton of people looking up, how to code a website, how to program. I think that it definitely is. Any popular career, I think, could be a good niche to get into. It's also worth it to note that people who know how to program are also very savvy at building a website. And so someone who could answer questions about programming probably already has a very successful brand. And so you definitely have to be careful also about the competition with this topic.
But huge potential for online courses, right?
Yeah.
And doing something on YouTube could be a great space here. If I'm learning something as in-depth as that, I would much rather have somebody talking to me on a video than just reading article after article teaching me how to be a programmer. Okay, wow, so many questions. I wish we could get to them all. Wolf Braun, quick question. Can I use Akabato with Elementor? Yep. Is there a free trial? Nope. There's not a free trial of Akabato. Something we'd love to work through, but we don't have it set up to be able to do that right now with the licensing and stuff, but it'd be nice to have. Okay. Okay, AA Loft Designs says that their website is geared toward templates and scripts for communication in relationships. It's more of a reference site. How would you expand the monetization strategy? I think a membership site for something like this could absolutely work.
Yeah.
People who are really into it and want to work on their communication in a relationship over time, something like that, I think could be really cool. Affiliate program is going to be tough. You could make an ebook, something like that could work, but I think mostly you're going to be selling information products in a niche like this. Ads, I think, you can do just fine. Ads are squirrely about dating sites. It's tough to get approved for some ads on dating sites, and so I'd be careful if you're really wanting to monetize with ads about not going too deep there.
All right, you're our next question. You there?
All right. Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
So I know that obviously you want 100% rate on Google, but what are some of the numbers that you guys are seeing?
On Acabado?
Just any website, like the Drill Warrior, for instance.
You're wanting to know the page speed scores?
No, the click-through rate that you guys are.
Oh, click-through rates from Google?
Yeah.
Ooh, good question. I haven't checked that in a long time. I'm
Like right
sorry.
now,
It's not something we check real often. Maybe I can pull it up here as we're talking.
Yeah, let's take a look.
But so what he's talking about is in your Google Webmaster Tools, you see how many impressions you have, and then how many actual clicks you're getting through to your website for that. It's not a number that I track every day. In fact, I obviously don't even know it here, but we'll pull it up.
I just felt like I was getting kind of a lot of impressions for the clicks I was getting.
I think almost everybody feels that way, that they're getting a lot of impressions and not that many clicks. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. I think this is a number that that really scares people when they see it in Webmaster Tools or Webmaster Central. They're always changing the name of that thing.
Right, because I guess a lot of those impressions are coming from other countries and stuff too.
Right, and you may be showing number 10 on the search result. And so it doesn't necessarily mean that people didn't like your title and stuff. It really just means you just didn't happen to get through it. I can't do it while I'm talking, but I'll try to pull that up as we're talking and see if we can add that in a little bit later. All right. Okay.
Okay, we got someone coming in from Columbus, Ohio. Hey, you're our next question.
Hey, thank you so much. I just wanted to firstly just thank you guys for all the great content on YouTube. It's helped drive one of my websites that was getting about 300 hits a month to about 6,000 to 8,000 4 months later. So
Fantastic.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I've actually got a couple of pretty well-established YouTube channels, and I was part of the Amazon affiliate program. This might be a little off-topic stuff, but you can feel free to hang out. But one of my channels is quite large, and I was once I started the Amazon program, I was doing really well. Actually, it was a huge chunk of my monthly pay. I had it cancelled actually for breaching terms of service with terminology that location is encouraged to get back, and I was always disclosing that and all that kind of stuff on my website and also on my YouTube channel. And I approached them to try to get it appointed and just explained that. Actually asked what was going on, and they basically said just start another account, you should be fine. So I started another account, they cancelled that one.
So it's a little bit hard to hear you. What's your question here?
Do you know any way to recover any Amazon, any way to start or appear an Amazon affiliate account that might have been terminated? I don't know. They didn't pay me out, so I just wondered whether or not you had any suggestions
Okay, I understand. So his Amazon Associates account was terminated. Oh, I don't like it when companies deal with people this way. I really don't. Amazon has thrived off us. I mean, I figured it out one day. I can't remember what the number was, but it's like $15 million worth of purchases to Amazon over the last many years. That through my affiliate links, people have purchased $15 million worth of product. It was something like that. I can't remember. And so I hate it when Amazon then treats affiliates like a bug to be squashed.
Yeah.
Like they don't like something on your site, you're banned. In fact, I haven't talked about this yet. I haven't even told you guys, but on Improved Photography, I got an email from them about a month ago saying you're going to be banned from the Amazon Associates program in 48 hours if you don't fix this problem. I was like, what if I was on vacation?
Yeah.
Right? Like, what in the world? And it was because I was selling a site with Empire Flippers, and I had to give them access, and they didn't like that I was giving an account access to somebody outside my... Anyway, whatever. And we got it fixed. But it's like, what if I was on vacation? It is just such a horrible way of dealing with somebody who has sent you $15 million worth of business. It just, it's infuriating. But Amazon just does not care. Anyway, so I understand how you feel, I guess I should say. There's not a way to appeal an Amazon Associates decision. You can email into their support, explain it. They have very, very little patience or empathy for you. So do everything you can, but your best bet is probably to start a new LLC, get a new EIN, and just reapply. And then if there are any questions about, hey, this domain was banned before, just say, this is a brand new company that owns the site now. Say this new company has purchased the site, because you can do that, right? So that's really your option. They will ban you, and they do not care. Another reason why I'm not real excited about that program. Okay, Dane in Project 24 has a few questions. His first one, I think, is an especially good one. If you were looking to start a passive income stream today, would you start it with a YouTube or a niche site? Yep. We are really, really excited about the possibilities that we're seeing and the actual numbers we're seeing on YouTube by creating a YouTube channel. It's working well. We're seeing quick results. Cool things are happening over there. We are also seeing cool things happening on a niche site. We are seeing people succeeding there all the time. We're seeing websites taking off. Income School, this is exciting. We have 2 sites now that are at the traffic level to add AdThrive, and both of them, both Outdoor Troop and Embora Pets, are there now, and so they'll be getting ads on there probably next week. The new sites we're starting are going like they always have. And so, yes is the real answer. I think it has a lot more to do with the specific niche and with you, what you want out of the business and what you're good at. What would you say? Yeah,
Ricky and I answered something similar to this question a little bit earlier, but basically if you have the personality to be on camera, that's a huge thing. And
I should say about that, no one feels like they do.
Right, yeah.
Like, go make 20 videos and then say I can't do this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it comes with practice. So don't say just because you don't want to be on camera that you shouldn't start a YouTube channel. But that definitely factors into it. Also, the competition levels between Google and YouTube. If you search something that is really high competition that's on your hit list, or that you want to be on your hit list, on Google it might be crazy high competition. On YouTube there might be nothing there. It's kind of crazy, and there's a little bit of vice versa there, a little bit of back and forth. But seriously, do both if you can. Because if you want to build an overall brand, and if you want to increase the amount of exposure you have, increase your EAT, it's a great opportunity. So either are great, both is even better, I would say.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Both is very exciting, I think. But for me, I'm really excited about YouTube right now. Like the question about me, like what would I personally do? I would probably start a YouTube channel just because it's new and exciting, and I really, really enjoy being on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I haven't always. It was hard for me, like it was for everybody when you began. But I just really enjoy it. And I feel like I understand some things there that are kind of new that maybe other people aren't taking advantage of, that I feel like we have a little bit of an edge. In Project 24, we revealed all that edge, by the way, we have a full course in Project 24 just on how to kick butt on YouTube.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are excited about that. All right, we have an audio call here. Hey, you're our next caller.
Hello.
He doesn't like us very much.
Wait, he's still there.
Are you there, Houston?
Yeah, hello, Eric.
Yeah, what's your question?
Yeah, hi, I'm from India, Sindhu Mishra. What about your thought about Amazon starting Amazon needs sites related to technologies?
What is, it was about Amazon.
Yeah.
Try again.
Okay. Hello?
Hi, I'm sorry, some of the calls are a little bit too hard to hear. Yeah, sorry, wasn't able to kind of make it out there. It's just because of the call quality is all. Okay, okay. Well, here's another one. Now we went from Houston, Texas to Austin, Texas. Let's try it again. Hi, you're our next caller.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, but I didn't expect anybody to answer though. Well, I guess I had a question. I was talking to my stepbrother, and he kind of was telling me that health niche doesn't really seem to work.
The health niche?
It's I've been doing the health niche for about a year, and I've been really trying to find like something more targeted because it seems way too broad just to say I'm writing about health.
Yeah.
It just seems way too broad, but I kind of narrowed it down all the way to healthy mindset development, pretty much how a healthy eater mindset thinks. I was wondering, do you think that might be too broad as well?
Good question. What do you think? So he is making a website about healthy mindsets, and he wants to know if that's too broad of a niche or what he should do there.
Yeah, I mean, that is a better niche, I would say, to get into than some other health-related topics, because when you get into your money, your life, it gets a little bit dangerous, and we are going to be talking a little bit more about that on our YouTube channel soon. But as far as like healthy mindsets, mindfulness goes, that is a really competitive niche. It's kind of like getting into self-help, really. There's just going to be a lot of thought leaders on the subject. There's going to be a lot of people who have a lot of notoriety, not just on Google, but who are famous.
Confident attitude. That kind of information kind of advice is harder to rank for, because Google is nervous about who it sends that to. It could work a little bit better on YouTube. It's also not a highly searched question. Like if I'm having trouble with a healthy mindset, I don't know that I Google that as much as I go talk to my wife.
Sure.
You know, I don't know that I. Yeah, it's a tough place to be, I would say, for sure. I would say that people who feel like they want to sell advice like that generally struggle. Can you get there? Yes, but generally you got to struggle through.
Okay, we have an interesting question here. Well, it's not really a question. The Indian gentleman that was calling earlier, someone was clarifying here. He was wondering what we think about an Amazon affiliate niche website relating to tech. So were we to sell tech-related items from Amazon, if that makes sense.
Tech is a really low category.
Right.
Some of it as low as 0.5%. Like for computers, I don't have them all memorized, of course, but like computers are really, really low. I've seen people many times before be excited, like, whoa, I can do laptop reviews, and it's like, you may find that you get the same commission as a Polly Pocket, right? Because they just clamp down on how much the percentage that they're paying so much in the tech space. And so definitely be aware of that. Can it work? Yeah. Is there a lot of money to be made? Yeah. Just be aware. And also it is very competitive.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We got a call coming in from Albany, New York.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks. Listen, I'm a Project 24 member, and I don't really have a question. I was just calling in to say that I love your new theme and the videos that you've put together to make it easy. Developing the website was like holding me back, and now with your new theme, I feel like I can just sit down and focus on writing. So thank you very much.
Hey, that's really cool.
Thank
I appreciate you calling in. That was super nice.
Okay, have a good day.
Thank you.
You too.
If you couldn't hear the call, she just said she's a Project 24 member and has Akabato and found it really easy to get installed, and kind of got it out of the way so she could focus on her site. So
Yeah.
that was really cool.
That's
very
why we
nice
did
of
it.
you to call in. Okay, here's a good question. One that we don't answer enough. Master Coach University says, do you think Project 24, and I want to talk a little bit less about the course, but just what we teach in general, would be helpful for a local business? So yes and no. So if I have a local painting company and I just want more people to send me business to my local house painting company, right? A lot of the things we teach, yeah, you should do.
Mm-hmm.
You should write those things, but there are enough tweaks that you have to really be careful of. For example, map is really, really important on a local site. Your NAP, your name, address, and phone number. Google wants to be sure that you're not gaming the system. So it wants to see if I'm a local painting company, that the number I have all over the website is 208 something, right? That it's a local phone number. They want to see my address, that I am really for sure a local company. They want to see the name of it on everywhere. So every page of that website should have your NAP. So that's a change than what we would teach in Project 24 and just generally, because most of our sites are about connecting with the world, right? And then other things is your search analysis is going to be different. Let's say I'm a local photographer. I don't want to write a blog post like 10 wedding photography tips, because that's not who my client is. My client is a bride-to-be, right? And so I may want to write something like 10 most beautiful wedding venues in Boise, Idaho. And then somebody goes and reads the wedding venues, and you can say, hey, look, I'm a wedding photographer. I go to weddings twice a week, every week for the last 10 years. I know the venues, and these are the best ones you can pick. Suddenly that's a really helpful post to your target client, and you can start bringing them in. Or 10 ways to look stunning in your wedding photos. That's going to contact the whole world, which has some value for just bringing your website's authority up, but it doesn't necessarily bring in somebody from Boise as a client. So you have to think a little bit different. There are a couple little tweaks, but the vast majority of the things we teach is what you should be doing. Your website setup, the search analysis, everything. You just got to kind of convert some things to I'm a local business.
Right. But you
I was
should
doing
know.
this. Please come to my website.
But what you should know is local SEO is a totally different category than the SEO we teach in our course. And so if that's what you're looking for, that's a whole other can of worms to open.
Weston Miller's wanting to know our click-through rate. I'm sorry, I'm on a live. I can't. I'm going to try to bring it up. Maybe when I get tagged, I'll try to look for it.
Okay, here's a question that I want to answer. So Monk asks, if I watch pretty much every video on the Income School channel, is it still worth it to get Project 24?
I certainly think so. And that's, I mean, like, honestly, I used to, like, when I had a close friend who wanted it, I used to give him the course, and now I just tell him, you need to just go buy the course, because I want him to have some skin in the game and go for it. But, like, honestly, if my brother asked me how to start a website, I would say, really, honestly, just go take the course. There is so much that we are sharing here that we want everyone to have. But you are missing on so much of the very important steps if you don't have what's in Project 24. An example is our new YouTube course. We can share tons of tips on, getting more people to your YouTube channel, how much money we're making from ads, etc. but you really need the whole base.
Yeah.
Where we have a framework for how you can take advantage of YouTube's algorithm that we don't want out there publicly. Because we have seen Google that made it pretty obvious that they were responding to something that we had shared in YouTube videos. A lot of these videos are getting out to a lot of people, and they will respond to kind of things like that. And there are some strategies like we have in there. One I think we're thinking of specifically that I don't know that I want everybody to know. I don't want it out there. But has been huge for us. I mean, it's like the thing bringing in revenue from our YouTube channel is that strategy. And so that's where we can share it. Now, can you be successful with just the free information and doing this yourself? Yes, absolutely. And don't let it stop you if you just can't make that investment. Go out there and kill it, no matter how you're doing this. But do I think, like, this is the real bro talk here, right? Or bro to sister talk, like, am I like really, really certain that if you put in the effort and you're going to build this thing that I can get you to success? I mean, 1 month sooner. If I get your website earning money 1 month sooner, you would have paid for Project 24 plus a lot more. And I see tons of people all the time in consultations that have been at this for years and are not at success. And it breaks my heart. Like, honestly, it does. To see somebody who's worked so hard, because I admire somebody who's working for themselves and pushing themselves hard to get there, and they've fallen down because they just didn't have the information, the perspective that they needed. And I do not want to see that happen to anybody.
Yeah.
So do whatever works for you. If the free information we share on YouTube is all you can do, go do it. But I promise you, we are going to put everything into making sure you get way more than your money's worth when you're in Project 24. I should also mention, we just made a full-time hire. He's not here today, but Nathan Adelot was our manager in Rexburg. We've now hired him full-time, and we gave him one job. He has one job: make Project 24 members successful. You go in there, you make sure we're putting out courses constantly, making sure everything in that course is up to date. If there is anything we can do for them, we want it in there. We're really committed to making it the best we can.
Yeah.
But if you just can't get there, then take what we do for free and still go after your business. I want you to go after it. Anyway.
Nigel from Project 24 is asking, what's the best way to add a contact us form in Acrobato? Is there a specific plugin that works with Acrobato?
Well, there are a lot of contact forms. There are a lot of them that are problematic as well. My favorite is Jotform. We all use Jotform on the sites, and it's just such a good. It's paid. You got to pay for it, and so I could see that if it's just a simple contact form, you may not want to do that, but it's awesome. I think it's worth the money. We end up using it for a lot of different things. But you could use any of the plugins and stuff. It's not that Acrobato isn't compatible with any old contact form. It'll work fine.
Hey, you're our next caller. Thanks for waiting so long.
Awesome.
You have a question for us?
What can we help you with?
Yeah, so I posted a second ago. My name is Zach Elliott. I run a website called legaldrone.com. And I've had it up for about 3 months now, and I've got probably about 35 to 40 articles. I've done a few YouTube videos, that kind of thing. And I'm not really sure where I should be spending my time. Should I be spending my time more promoting on YouTube, on Pinterest, or continuing to create more content? I've also got a couple of Facebook groups and pages. I'm just not really sure what would be the best way for me to be spending my time, and I don't want to spin my wheels.
Yeah, so it's legaldrone.com, is that right?
TheLegalDrone.com.
Oh, TheLegalDrone.com. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, good question. So he has Facebook, YouTube, the blog. Where would you spend your time?
Yeah, and it does depend on your niche. So one thing he mentioned was Pinterest. Mm-hmm. You definitely want to be careful about Pinterest because it tends to cater toward the classic top 5 blogging type of niches like cooking and travel, DIY. So first of all, I just wanted to throw that out there. Second, it also kind of depends on where you are in your process. We generally say that organic traffic is the best way to go. Obviously, there's other ways you can go about it. There's different types of promotion. But definitely focusing on that organic SEO, it is possible to build up your site completely for free. But there are so many different ways, directions that you can go about building up traffic. Did he say exactly where he was as far as?
He didn't. He said it was pretty new though. But
Okay.
the one thing I would add, earlier we mentioned that like somebody said blog or YouTube and we said both. I think I want to go back to that. I'm not sure that I totally agree with myself. And the reason is that YouTube really wants activity.
Sure.
It's not a good idea to put up 30 videos on YouTube and then leave it for a year and come back. Go look at the Camper Report channel and you'll see why. We put up a bunch of like 10 videos and they kicked butt. I mean, it brought in 10,000 subscribers from those 8 videos. It brought in millions of views from those 10 videos. And then we were busy. We have too many irons in the fire and we didn't continue with it every week, right? And so we come back to it a year later and put out a video. It's like it's a new channel.
Yeah.
It's like it's a new channel. Because those subscribers are old. They don't remember me. YouTube may not even want to send out a notification about my new video because they're not sure what this thing is after being dead for so long. Unlike a blog where you can put out a batch of content and sit it, YouTube is not the case. And so, yes, you can do both, but only insofar as if you're starting a YouTube channel, you've got to continue. You got to continue making content weekly, 1 video a week. Now, that doesn't mean that this can't be a passive business. A lot of negatives in that sentence. You could make, in fact, we're doing this as a test in a couple weeks. I'll tease this now. So the Camp Report channel, we just don't have the time for it, but it's worked so well that we have to do something. And so we're just going to go camping for 3 days and just try to record 50 videos in a few days and then schedule them out over a year. And so you can make it very, very passive on a YouTube channel. You know, if we record videos for Income School and they go out over the next couple weeks and I go on vacation, nobody knows. It's fine. They get their video, right? And so it can still be very passive, but you gotta keep posting.
Yeah. And back to the question of where you should spend your time when your blog is new, everyone should know that it is a waiting game. It takes a good amount of time for Google to rank your posts. On average, we say that like it's between 8 or 9 months that you'll actually see your posts get to where they're going to be indefinitely. And so just know that when it feels like nothing's happening and you should be spending your time on just something, things are happening. Google's bots are going and your posts are going to rank if you're doing it right. So,
and new data point on that. So snakeowner.com that is now Embora Pets has been, that content's rolled in there. So we've always said about 35 weeks before your post is kind of up there.
right.
What I will notice is that site is that age. And it's still, there's still a nice growth to it. It hasn't leveled off. And so there are 2 possibilities that I see there. That one, it's a change in Google, that it's just taking that much longer to kind of trickle up. Or 2, this is like the first time that we have just dumped a huge amount of content all at once.
Yeah.
And so it could be for that reason. But like we say 35 weeks, and it's like, I guess what I would say about that number is I used to say that's it. You'll be at 90% of where it's going to go at 35 weeks. And now I would say it's more like you should be seeing good things at that time, right? If you're not, something is probably up, but I wouldn't say it's 90% anymore.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, that seems to be where Snake Owner and Embora Pets have been going.
All right, San Diego, California, you're our next caller.
Hey, how's it going? This is Jeffrey Suey with Master Coach University.
Master Coach University.
Yeah, I just posted a question for my wife's business, and I thought I would get selfish and ask something for my own.
All right.
So I've had a blog for over 10 years. We got started early, but I've got a team of writers. My assistant Kim, she's right here. She posts the articles, and but the problem is that, we've been caught up in what people were doing 10 years ago. We're posting 600 to 700 word articles. Last year, our writer died. He had a heart attack, and then we had 3-4 months of no regular posting, and our traffic took a dive. I've since hired 2 writers, gotten things rolling again. Our traffic has popped back up, but we're kind of at a ceiling at about 300 hits per day. And so I'm in a little bit different situation with a brand new site, and I'm wondering, based on your framework, I know I need to change things, but I'm wondering, how much am I shooting myself in the foot with staying on a site that's got, relatively short form, low quality, high volume content? And do I need to consider taking a lot of those down? It just seems a little dicey to me, the situation that I'm in.
And so how much traffic is it getting a month? How many page views?
We're getting about 300 hits per day on average. So what is that per month?
I can't do math. Ricky isn't on the call.
It's under 10,000. It's like, it looks like it's probably around 9,000.
And is that traffic incredibly valuable, or is it just pretty standard normal traffic?
Unfortunately, my metrics are not phenomenal, but we pixel all that traffic and we target it, and that's probably where a good third to a half of our business comes from.
Okay, so it's very valuable traffic.
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, so
when our traffic went way down last year, our business took a gigantic hit. I mean, a lot of our business went away.
Are you getting a lot of traffic from social?
No. Our YouTube channel is doing better and better, but I have not been able to quantify the number of leads we're generating from it, and then all other social is fairly low. I mean, that traffic we're getting on our blog is very much organic. It's search traffic.
Okay, thanks for the question. So he had a writer who died, and the website traffic took a huge hit once they stopped posting. This is pretty unusual to happen on a website, where you stop posting new content on a website and that causes the traffic to come off a cliff. I wouldn't say, though, Clearfield, Utah is calling. I'm sorry, my dad's from there. I should take this call, but we're answering a question. It's unusual. Improved Photography has seen that happen, where we were posting very, very frequently, and when we stopped posting very frequently, the traffic came way, way, way down because of it. In Improved Photography's case, however, it's because we had so many daily readers. So many people would just come to the website every day. We also had browser notifications for like 50,000 people who had signed up for browser notifications. And so you post a new article and it brings in a lot of people because of the browser notification. So I have seen it before in that case. It's weird, though, that if your site is just organic traffic, it's weird that you would see a huge dive when you stop posting. Can you think of any other explanations for that?
No. I mean, this kind of sounds like how blogging used to be, right? You would follow your favorite blogger,
right,
and then all of their new posts would be the ones that were successful. But yeah, I can't think of why with that organic model this would be happening.
Yeah, I'd want to dive into the analytics. That is weird for sure. Yeah, but I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it's if the content is really timely, something like that. That it's falling off. If it was a lot of news kind of stuff, that would make a lot of sense. But I would. Sorry to give a passing answer, but you got to dive into the analytics and figure out why that happened to figure out what you're going to make going forward. All right, we were able to get Clearfield, Utah on the call.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, I was disconnected. I was talking about the suicidal prevention website, remember?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when Ricky and I were on the phone, he called earlier and we weren't able to connect.
Oh, okay. What's your question?
Yeah, the question was about, Jim, how are you? The question is that, I teach a class for suicidal prevention in Utah for the youth, because it's growing in the suicidal youth, unfortunately. And in the past, I got sponsors to pay for the manuals. I don't have sponsors anymore. So I was thinking about sponsoring myself by getting a website, website. But my question is about the content, because some people, there are a lot of websites in English teaching about suicidal prevention, and I'm going to do it totally in Spanish because I'm certified to teach in Spanish only. So I got to go prevencionvideo.org, and I'm wondering about the content. How can I I don't want to copy things from other people. I want to be honest, and I have, I do a good job. I don't want to get banned by Google either.
Okay, I think I understand his question. He was wanting to make his website in Spanish.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people that speak Spanish in the world. You're going to do just fine making a website in Spanish. There is a difference, but it's not a total difference. So, yes, go for it. You're going to have a more difficult time monetizing with ads because the U.S. market is so valuable for ads. The English-speaking market, I should say, is so valuable for ads compared to other languages. But there are plenty of affiliate programs. There's a big world out there, and so don't feel like you can't go after it. Okay. Question. Let's see. All right. Well, let's take this question from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Hi, thanks for hosting such a thing for today.
Thanks for being on.
I was wondering, I'm trying to get into the parent section of the blog world, but I know that it has to really be a tighter niche. I'm being trained as a parent volunteer through my kids' school, who actually purchased a membership to a well-known book and program to help teach parents about that and implementing it into their home. Can I blog about that concept legally, like my experience as a parent going into that?
So
I know that I can't put it in my domain name.
So it's a book or a program about parenting?
I'm sorry?
It's like a book or a program about parenting?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's implemented into the school. The teachers are trained on it, and then I'm getting trained as a parent to then
Okay, I understand.
teach it to other parents.
Okay, good question. So she's wanting to make a website about parenting, but it's based off a book or a program that is in existence, somebody else's copyrighted or trademarked work. So she was right. She mentioned, not to have it in the domain name. So if I'm making a website kind of based on how to win friends and influence people, I don't want to make a website how to win friends and influence people fan.com, right? Especially because that's a stupid domain name. But you do make sure it's not in your domain name. You should be just fine. On your website, just make it clear that you're a different company. And you really should be okay. In how you present it, you just want to make sure it's very clear that you are not the source of that book, that this is communicating about it. Now, you mentioned if you're in some kind of program, make sure there isn't something contractual between you two, that you can't share the information from the program or something like that. But I really wouldn't concern myself too much. People do this kind of thing all the time, where you're sharing information that you had learned in one place and you want to kind of talk more about it.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be an issue.
Be cautious though. Getting into the parenting niche, man, it is hard out there. That is
tough.
One of the big ones. So
it is tough, I agree. But not impossible, and I would say YouTube is another, when I find competition, I'm looking at YouTube these days.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, you're on the line.
Hey guys, thanks for doing this, and also thanks for all of your videos as well. I really, really appreciate all that I've learned from what you put up on YouTube.
You're welcome. Thanks for calling in.
Okay, so I have a question. So thanks to your YouTube channel, I was inspired, and I started a website giving women who were looking for relationships with men, giving them online dating advice.
Cool.
But when I started doing research on topics, I found that I got a lot of ideas on writing about not just online dating advice, but also relationships, advice about relationships for the beginning of a relationship, and also just relationship advice in general for women. And I'm wondering if you can talk about the difference between, and your advice about doing a niche site, like specifically about online dating advice, versus doing a authority site in which I'm covering different topics.
Other than dating.
Well, dating, but then kind of subtopics of dating, like relationship advice, how to attract mates. So they all kind of fit together, but they're not, like, it's not one specific topic.
Gotcha. Okay, so she's wondering, she's making a website about, dating relationships, and she's just kind of wondering how many sub parts of that should she include. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, generally when you're getting a domain name anyway, you want it to kind of be the umbrella that encapsulates all of your subdomains. And so when you're in a niche that's strictly about dating, I mean, you should feel free to go into as many of those sub niches as possible. If I'm understanding the question correctly, is that what you would say?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. Just how big is your content going to be?
Yeah.
What I would say is think more about the customer than the SEO. So is each customer you find somebody who comes to your website? So let's say I make a website about photography, and I've been writing a lot about night photography. I'm writing about it constantly. I have a good audience there. And then I think, oh man, it'd be really fun to make this other post about wedding photography. So I think the answer to the question of do you do it or not is this going to expand on what your current customer already has? If not, you're starting a new business, right? But if I do night photography and somebody is asking about star photography, well, that's just very related. You're going to do great. Or even night photography that's usually a landscape, going to just general landscape photography, you're probably fine. So if you're talking about, how to find a date, how to do well on a first date, and you've developed this little audience of people who clearly are not in a relationship, and then you want to do something about communication and marriage, you're going to alienate the people you have, and it's going to be an issue. Now, on a blog, not that big of a deal.
Right.
Because whatever, they won't ever see that blog post. Nobody's coming and reading your stuff every day. It's SEO, whatever. Put it up there. It's related enough to be on the same website. On a YouTube channel, you don't have that luxury. Because if we put out a video today on Income School about flipping houses, everybody's like, what the heck, man? I'm not flipping a house.
Yeah.
I'm making an internet business. And so you have to just recognize what your current customers are going to think.
Definitely. Okay. On a super chat here, Ryan asks, a local business hasn't used their domain name for over 10 years. Could I buy the domain and create a website to generate income without legal issues? This is your department.
Okay. Again, I'm a lawyer, but I'm not your lawyer, so you have to get competent legal advice in your jurisdiction. What I would say for me in that situation, I want to make sure I understand the question. So are you buying... So let's say I own Superior Painting, right? Mm-hmm. And I own superiorpainting.com, and later you see that domain name is for sale. I may have a trademark in Superior Painting even if I don't own the .com, which is a nightmare for us trying to get domain names. I can't tell you how many times we found a domain name that was really, really exciting. We thought, oh, this is awesome. And then we checked and there's some local business in Toronto or New York that is using that name. Now, a trademark can be specific to a region. So somebody who has Superior Painting in New York, would it cause likely customer confusion if I made Superior Painting in Boise that they wouldn't be sure which company they're dealing with? It's possible that because of the geography that they wouldn't be confused. And so it does get a little complex in the legal analysis here, but those are the issues you would have to consider. All right, Houston, Texas has been calling. Oh, and we missed him.
They'll call that. Yeah, let's do it.
Yep.
We'll let Freddie stretch.
We delete one here. We are almost to 75%. Okay, Austin, Texas. Ooh, Texas is popular today. All right, hi Austin, you're on the call.
Hey, surprised I made it on. This is Joshua from Austin, Texas, and so I just wanted a little bit of advice. I have recently gone back full time to my family business. I'm a Project 24 member, and I've had a recipe or a website called Keto Dessert Recipes for about 2 years. And since I started Project 24, I've started to make a whole lot of progress, and I'm getting about 10,000 views a month now.
Woo! 10,000 page views a month, I accept. That's a great start.
Yeah, so, I mean, before that, and it's really a lot of the your methods that has really gotten me ranking. I got a lot of, response posts ranking #1 now, but, I kind of have to go commit full time to my family business because it's going to take a lot. So I was wondering whether you would advise me, trying to sell my website or just still trying to,
How much is it earning per month?
Well, I'm not doing ads on it. So it's earning about $150 a month.
Okay, good question. So he's a Project 24 member. He said by implementing the things that we've taught him, he's gotten up, and his really, really hard work, he's up to 10,000 page views a month. But he's got to focus on an actual physical business that's a family business right now. And so he's not sure he can continue on with his website, which is a shame because, man, 10,000 page views a month. If you can get there in a pretty short amount of time since he's been a member, man, the future looks good. I mean, that's exciting. So what do you think? That's a tough call.
The thing is, selling a site at this point, you're making $100 a
horrible
month.
time to sell.
You're on this upward path, which means you could maybe get a higher multiplier for it. And most sites are going to sell somewhere between 20 and 40 times monthly earnings. But most people will look back at the last 12 months of earnings. Mm-hmm. And so if your average, even if you're earning 100 a month now, your average might be 20 or 5. And so, but assuming it's 100, assuming your average is 100 and you can get a 30 times multiplier, you're only going to get a few $1,000s for this website.
Yeah.
And I would be more inclined, if it were me, to hang on to it. Mm-hmm. Even if it mostly sits, traffic's probably going to be increasing. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to make the time that I can occasionally to pop on and keep adding more content and just slow down on your pace.
Yeah, 10,000 page views a month. I mean, it's only earning $150 a month right now, but he doesn't even have ads on it. And monetization is really easy to change. It's the traffic that I'm concerned about here.
Right.
It's a big step to get to there. You've done a good job. It's in a horrible place for selling right now because the revenue doesn't reflect the potential that's there.
Yeah.
And nobody buys a business on potential. You buy it on what the actual numbers are. And so, man, I mean, you've got to somehow grind this out a little bit and get that thing, because it's not a big step to get from, maybe $300 a month once he has ads and works on some monetization. To get it from $300 a month to $1,000 a month that's not a big step at all compared to where you've come from at 0. And so you get it to $1,000 a month and you wait a year to show $1,000 a month of continued revenue, and suddenly this website's worth $35,000. So it's just in a bad spot to be selling now.
So Matt Howell has asked, I think, several times.
But in Project 24, post it for sale. If you just want to get rid of it, people are selling sites in Project 24 at this stage to people who kind of understand this, and you may find a biter there.
Yeah, not only that, but then you can avoid the 15%.
I may be the biter. This is a stage that I kind of like to buy a site.
Matt Howell's been asking, what are our tips for starting email marketing campaigns? He says he's building a list, but he doesn't know what to send them.
I understand.
Okay, so like,
I'm with you, brother.
We
Solidarity.
a little bit earlier too, but sending people just the big mistake a lot of people make is they just send like, here's a list of my blog posts this week with links to all of them. I just put out a YouTube video. You know, I feel like an email newsletter needs to have something unique, some additional value beyond your other content. Something that people only get if they're on the email list. And that's what's going to keep people engaged and prevent them from unsubscribing. Mm-hmm. You don't want to send them stuff so often that they are just annoyed, which is easy to do. But you also don't want to ignore them, because if you don't send them anything for 6 months and then you send them something, they're like, who is this guy? Mm-hmm. So what do you send them? Usually in our case, we're going to create a drip campaign that sends them something maybe every day for a few days, but then stop for a while. Or maybe it's something where once a week. There's just a standard set of emails that go out that just help to build rapport for you, give a little bit of credibility to what you teach, and that in some ways maybe promote something that you're selling, but again in a way that's just extremely friendly, extremely helpful, and rapport building.
Yeah, I would think of some kind of genre for what the emails may be.
Yeah.
So for example, if I have a website about wedding photography, and maybe every time I connect with somebody who has a successful wedding photography business, I say, hey, could I, ask you 5 standard questions? And they reply to it. And my email, my monthly email or whatever that I do twice monthly, is just success stories of people that have started their wedding photography business from zero and got to success within a year. And you share their 3 best tips. And I could see somebody like wanting to read those if they're starting to do it. So think of it like a podcast, like what would be kind of a cool concept for a podcast, and then just make it an email.
So that's a great idea. Yep. Because you're coming from so many different places.
I know, I've got to check like 4 different tabs.
Okay, so this happens a lot where, you know what, let's take this call and then maybe I'll come back to that thing I was going to just say a second ago. All right, you're on the line with Income School.
All right, that sounds like Ricky. I think I need Jim on this one.
He's here too.
Jim, you're a lawyer, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So for years and years, I've been kicking around the idea of how to succeed in court from I'm not a lawyer, just from a layman's term, just how to succeed in this case or this case. I've had some success. Do you get jumped on by other lawyers if I start a site like that? Would it just be, spinning my wheels? Would I be constantly fighting against, legal battles of, oh, you can't put that out on the internet because you're not a certified lawyer?
What kind of information might you put out? For what kind of case?
It was mainly for custody battles, like, how to go into court and win the custody of your children. What's in the best interest of the children?
Gotcha. Okay, good question. So he's wanting to create a legal blog, helping people with legal issues, especially in custody cases, family law cases. He's not an attorney, and he's wondering if that's kind of a winning recipe. Google is careful about YMYL, your money and your life, and legal issues often impact both. And so I would say that this is a place where we do need some authority. Now, Google doesn't know if you're a lawyer or not. Google knows if you got a lot of links to your About page. Google knows if you have written a book and it's linked to on Amazon. Google knows if you're speaking at a conference and you're getting links from a conference page to your About page. And so YMYL, I wouldn't worry about too much, as long as you can kind of establish some of that authority. And it's okay to establish that authority from a layman's perspective anyway. What I would say though is, having done some SEO for attorneys, it's actually pretty darn competitive. when you're searching specific legal questions, attorneys are pretty turned on to SEO because one client could be worth $100,000, and so a lot of attorneys.
I agree with that. I agree with that. What I noticed though is that they always have these boilerplate, answers that all the sites are always the same answer.
It could be because that's correct though. So.
Well, right, but I'm looking at it from the parent's view and not so much from the lawyer's view.
Yeah, could you have advice for people going through custody battles on how to select their attorney and how to deal with the other parent and stuff? Yeah, I think there's a way that you could absolutely do that. But it's really a question of the search analysis. Can you go through the search analysis and find those things that don't have that competition from attorneys who just are more authoritative than you are? And who know a lot more about it than you do, even if you've been through the same thing. So go through the search analysis. If you can find them, go for the site.
Yeah.
Just make sure you're clear with people about where you are and who you are as you're doing it.
Thanks. All right, you're on with Jim and Ricky.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How you doing?
Good.
Sweet. So I have a quick question because I started my site a week ago and I don't have any viewers. I'm curious, is this just a scam or what's going on?
You don't have any viewers?
He's joking. He said he started his channel a week ago and he doesn't have any viewers.
I'm just messing with you guys. I did everything backwards. I created a course, an online course, and then I started getting big the forums, and then the traffic from the forums was selling the course. And then I found you guys, and I was like, holy crap, maybe I should create my own site, and that'll be even better. So that's what I did. Like 2 weeks ago, and I've just been publishing every day. But something happened. Amazon closed down my affiliate account, I guess because I wasn't getting enough traffic or something like that. And it was weird because I was making sales with it, and I thought, well, now I'm screwed because I can't monetize it in the meantime while I publish.
That's right.
What do you think I should do?
Okay, so Amazon closed you down. Did they said it had to do with your traffic? Because if you're making sales, if you made at least 3 sales in the 6 months, that's usually the reason why. So if they closed you down for some other reason, you might be out of luck with Amazon. And you might look at, you say you've got a course, which is great, but
if it's due to insufficient sales, that's one where you can often just reapply. And you're going to be fine, no big deal.
But if it's due to something else and just Amazon's, we told people earlier, maybe you go get a new EIN and reapply. Also, you just we're not really in love with Amazon. It's their affiliate program, and so if you can find other opportunities out there are tons and tons of affiliate programs. If you just Google, for a specific product or a specific brand and affiliate program, or even a specific store and affiliate program, you may be surprised what you find. And we're having people that are having great success with affiliate programs outside of Amazon.
All right, we're getting a question on Project 24 from Matthew98. He says, I'm getting over 13,000 page views a month. First of all, virtual high five to Matthew98. People don't understand how hard it is. Some people spend years getting there. And so I just love seeing people consistently doing this. 13,000 page views a month, but all the pages that are getting traffic aren't affiliate focused. And it's hard to link these to a product, so my affiliate earnings are very low. Should I create more affiliate-focused articles? Most of my earnings are coming from ads right now. What do you suggest? Well, both can work. You can have a site that's just primarily ads and just earn a heck of a lot of money. So don't feel like you have to create an affiliate site. But if there's a potential for that in your niche and a lot of your content just isn't that, yes, now's a great time to be doing it. What we always are telling people is when you're starting your website, don't do a ton of this best X for Y, product recommendation things. Yep. They're more competitive. It makes your site more spammy. It's not a great start. Now that you're at 13,000 page views a month and we have at least a little clout with Google, now, yes, you should be writing those things if you want to get those affiliate earnings. It's a great time to do it, and we should do it. Just don't make your website all that.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember that Nickelodeon show, All That?
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, it's
I
like
got you,
with
Jim.
Keenan and Kel. Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Tanya Hall's been asking. She says they either want to start a local blog for a flower shop. By the way, she's in love and getting married next year.
Aw.
Congratulations. But you want to start.
She has it in caps.
Yes.
Aw.
A local blog for a flower shop in Houston, or destination weddings for anywhere. Which one do you start? Specific flower shop in Houston or destination weddings for anywhere? So if it's me, I'm probably choosing destination weddings.
Yeah, I'm going with anywhere.
Yeah. Again, the beauty of the internet is the capability of reaching like the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you limit yourself to a flower shop in Houston, while if I own a flower shop in Houston, building a website, creating good content is going to help me to get more people in the door to the store. I can do substantially more and generate a much more passive and larger income by targeting a worldwide audience. So that's my pick.
Eric in Project 24 says he has a brand new website that's getting a little traffic from Bing and Yahoo, but not yet Google. Is that a good sign of something to come from Google? I've never noticed that. I've never on our news site seen like Bing and Yahoo hit and then Google hits. I usually just see basically no traffic from Bing and Yahoo. So I can tell you. Sorry, Eric.
Yeah, I have had Project 24 members talk about this though, where they say, hey, I'm ranking on Bing, and then later they're like, sweet, it's on Google now. I wouldn't say that it completely correlates. I wouldn't say that if you ranked on Bing today, you're going to rank on Google in a week. But I don't think it's a bad sign if you're ranking on Bing or Yahoo. It just may not be the indicator you hope it is. I think if you're ranking somewhere though, be happy about that.
All right, Kimberly C. Starr on Project 24 says, I'm loving Acabado. For those of you who missed it, that's our brand new WordPress theme that we launched on Monday. You can get it at incomeschool.com/Acabado. So she says, I'm loving Acabado. It jumped my Google page speed score from, she was at a 45 before the theme, and then pegged it at 100. She says, I was shocked. That's with ads on the website on an existing site. Also, the theme is easy to use. The only other functionality that I wish it came with standard is that it would hide the username when you hover over the author URL in a post with the nickname or something else. It's easy enough to fix in the back end once you know, but still. Oh, okay. That is good. We can do that easy. That's an easy fix.
Yep.
Okay, Kimberly C. Starr, you get your wish. That will be in our next update.
For those of you who are using Acabado and you see things like that you're like, this would be really nice, just go report it on the bug reporting.
Bug report.
And even if it's just a little feature request, because Acabado is like any software is going to be constantly updated and improved.
Yep.
All right, we are getting a call from Columbus, Ohio. You're on with Jim and Ricky.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good.
Good, thanks so much for doing this. So you saw I'm in Columbus, Ohio. I'm an attorney, and so I wanted to know what you thought Project 24, how it could be used on a local level. So that, because I really only want folks on a local level to come and work with me based on their family and personal injury cases. So I'll hang up and listen to your answer. Thanks so much, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Good question. So he's a personal injury attorney, and so he really only wants clients in Ohio, or his local market anyway. And he's wondering how the Project 24, but again, we'll go more broadly of just what we teach in general is going to work. So 95% of actually 100% of what we teach is going to be applicable to you. It's just that you need a couple additional steps to rank for local SEO. One of them is going to be name, address, phone number, NAP. Should be on every page of your website. You're going to want that local phone number, that actual real address, and the name of the company to appear on every page of the site, even if it's in a footer or something. Having a Google map that pins your location, something like that. Everything we can do to prove to Google that this is a local business in this market. You're also going to want to make your Google Places, your Google My Business, it's called now.
Yep.
Listing, and you're going to want to get reviews on there. Those are like the additional steps. Once you've done that, what we show in Project 24 is what you need to be doing. Just that, you're going to have to kind of translate a couple things. You know, when we're talking about you're doing your search analysis, you just keep in mind, yeah, but my client's in Ohio. And so you may find a keyword, how much is it worth if you have a bad back after a car accident? How much money can I make? I could see somebody Googling that, right? You're going to want to add in Ohio in your things. And so it's not that different, but there are a couple additional steps, and we don't teach those additional steps in Project 24. It's not that complicated. Someday maybe we should add that for a local business. And most of the things in there are going to be perfectly applicable, but just Project 24 is targeted to those who are making it for the world, and so just understand that going in.
Yeah, good point. Okay, this question comes from Ohana Family. On a new YouTube channel, should I create a standard agenda and outline for consistency, and should I commission a logo, theme music, and stuff to establish a brand? First of all, you say create a standard agenda and an outline. I do think that there's some value in having some kind of consistency from video to video. It doesn't have to be a standard outline for every video. We certainly don't have a standard outline for every video. But maybe a publishing routine, I think, is important. Are you publishing weekly? Are you publishing twice a week? Whatever that is. And there can be some value in saying, like, you know, the first Monday of every month, I publish this type of video. The second Monday, it's that type of video. Again, we don't follow a structure like that really closely. When it comes to a logo and stuff, I would commission a logo that you can use with the nice banner image on your channel. I would probably have the profile picture still be a picture of you as a person, not the logo, because it feels a little bit too corporate. And then as far as theme music, there are a lot of channels that are treating YouTube almost like it's TV, right? You have like a 30-second intro.
I totally agree with this. This is what I was gonna add.
Like, no, YouTube is not TV. Does that mean you can't have high production quality stuff? No, absolutely. Go ahead and just have the vibe that you want. But people on YouTube are looking for, they want their information and they want it now. And so if they have to sit through a 30 or 45-second intro with music and stuff, they're probably gonna leave. In fact, some people on YouTube will even say the 2 seconds from when you end one sentence to the next sentence should be cut out, because that short little gap invites people to leave.
Let's try it. Be quiet for 10 seconds.
I don't think I can do 10.
No, we left. Darn it.
Okay. they want to wait and see what happens. Anyway, I wouldn't worry about theme music and a cool intro and outro and stuff. But music's good in the background, depending on the niche and depending on the topic of the video. But anyway, yes, the logo I would do.
Yeah, but just don't try to create TV. It's just not what people want, and we've made that mistake before.
Yeah.
In fact, if you look back to some of our earlier YouTube videos, we had this sweet setup that looked like it was this radio show and stuff, and it was starting to feel a little TV-ish, with lots of different camera angles and stuff. And people don't want TV on YouTube. People want YouTube on YouTube. They want that personal connection with our horrible quality webcam on this thing. I wish we had a little better deal. All right, we're getting a call from Kingston, New York. Hey, you're on the line. How can we help you?
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for all your content. Really good stuff. I have a question for you guys about number of page views versus income level, or number of users for income level. So I started my business kind of backwards. So I started with course marketplaces on Udemy and kind of replaced my job income that way. But now I'm kind of doing it backwards. I'm trying to build an audience outside of there. So I'm doing okay. Have a membership site, about 3,000 page views per month. But I'm trying to figure out what I need to get to in order to match that that I'm making on YouTube right now. So do you guys have a number of page views or maybe users that you see translate into a certain income level?
Good question.
Good question. It really, really, really varies based on monetization. So you're talking about courses. And so if you're wanting to replace your sales on Udemy with sales of the same course content on your website, Again, I don't know that I have a great number for page views because the easiest way to sell courses is honestly with YouTube in most cases. And the reason for that is, as we've talked about a few times now, building rapport with the audience. If I read a blog post based on a specific question I search, chances are it's a very transactional arrangement. I go to the website, I read the one article, I get the information I wanted, and I leave. And I don't have any reason to click through and go buy your course. So you can get a ton of page views without selling any courses. If you do a really good job with your interlinking and rapport building on the blog, then that number of the number of course sales per page view can go up substantially. If you then get a YouTube channel and you're able to build rapport that way because people can see you, they can hear you, they feel like they know you, then course sales just go through the roof, but that has nothing to do with page views or even really number of views on your channel. So it's difficult to tie a specific number.
Muhammad bin Wasim is asking how you use a Facebook page or a group, I might add, for web traffic. Facebook is the most anti-small business company I've ever seen. They really are. They do not care about small business, and they will absolutely squash you like a bug. And so it's not a place that I would recommend you sending traffic to as an internet small business. I mean, we have seen some people in Project 24 who have a Facebook group with a few thousand people on a specific kind of thing that they're doing. They have a kind of little user group that will post an article in there and can get 100, 200 people to the post. And so that can get really exciting when you start doing a lot of it. But I would say that it doesn't scale real well. And there will be a time once your site has enough traffic that you're just like, it's just not even worth going to get 100 people over. It's just no big deal. And you just kind of skip it. So I feel like it's a short-term gain. But if you spend a ton of time in there posting your stuff, you probably could have got a much better return long-term by working on something that can really grow, like a YouTube channel or just organic traffic to your website. And so I wouldn't spend a ton of time in there, even though at the early stages it can give you some early wins.
Cool, good question. All right, we got a question here from Virginia.
Yes. Quick question. So I started a blog that has about 20 articles, and I've been kind of watching your videos, and you guys are recommending to go into the YouTube spectrum. So I was wondering, should I outsource that part of creating the videos, the content to like a third-party company that would make the videos? Then I can just focus on the blog itself.
Good question. All right, I will take that. So, trying to reach using a third-party video company, right, to make your videos for you so you can focus on blog. I wouldn't outsource the video entirely. The content, I would want to be in the video because that's the real value you get. You get to build rapport with the audience. Using a third-party company to take care of everything beyond that, the production, the editing, the whatever. I mean, depending on your industry, you might want something that's just really cool. Sure, using somebody else that is willing to take care of the technology, fine. But don't let that be the thing that gets in the way of YouTube. Pull out a cell phone, pull out a webcam and hook it up to your laptop and create a YouTube video. Don't let cost, don't let technology be the thing that gets in your way. But if it's going to, I don't know, I would just say that outsourcing the actual video creation, I think is going to be very difficult for you to get what you want and for you to actually be able to build rapport with your audience.
Yep, I agree. Now, there was somebody here who didn't get any question read, and they're so sad. James Wilkinson says, can you get your blog to a Chinese audience if it's translated? Is it worth it? I mean, yes, there are a lot of people in the world who speak Chinese. I will say, having gone to China a few times, the Great Firewall of China is a very, very real thing. Not to get too sidetracked here, but that audience can be problematic if you don't really understand how the Great Firewall of China works. China doesn't block American websites like we think it does. What they usually do is they make the ISPs run them so slowly that they feel useless to people. Because if they were just blocked, they say, "What? The government's blocking me and I can't see it." So they just make them
these
like
American sites
they
suck.
just
They're
stick.
so slow.
And I've been there, worked on it, tried that, and that's how it's working. Your Gmail is going to take a long time to load, and your other is going to work just fine. So anyway, it's a little bit of a problematic audience, the Chinese audience, for that reason. Because obviously a huge portion of that is in China, and it's difficult. But assuming you know that, yeah, can you make a Chinese language site and be? Yeah, definitely,
Absolutely.
no question.
I got an Akabado question here. If you buy Akabado, and are you gonna have to reconfigure anything? And if you need to revert back, can you do that easily? As far as reconfiguring, it's about the simplest site theme to configure. It is the simplest thing to configure I've ever seen. It will work just out of the box. But the configuring stuff, we got a quick video tutorial that'll walk you through exactly how to do that. If you need to revert back and you haven't changed anything dramatic on your site, yeah, just activate the theme you were on before. If something happens that you didn't like and you need to revert back,
just like changing anything, it should be very, very quick.
Reverting back to an old theme is no problem.
Yeah.
We got a question. Oh, I missed you. Sorry.
Can you customize the font of Akabado? Actually, no, right now. And the reason is that loading Google Fonts is going to slow it down. Obviously, you could just add your own CSS. There's even a box for it to use some other font, and you'll be just fine. But if you did want to use a Google font, you'd have to use a plugin and CSS to do that. We would like to add that in the future, but adding Google Fonts slows the site down, and so that's a little bit of a hurdle to achieve. But any standard font, yeah, you can change just with the CSS.
All right, we got another call. You're on the line with Jim and Ricky.
All right, great.
What can I help you with? Ireland?
Hi, I have a website that's in the adult niche, and the site's about 9 months old. Right now, I'm getting about 800 page views per month. And I wanted to know what would be your advice about which articles I could maybe start writing on the site that have a good chance at ranking for.
All right, we'll take that. What type of articles? You said in the adult niche, which is a little bit tough because that's a lot of different areas and a lot of areas that I don't really talk about.
A lot of corners of the internet throughout travel.
Yeah, exactly. So really though, you got to do your search analysis. You got to, depending on what your space is within the adult space.
You're blushing, dude.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. But I just have no idea. I have no idea because it just has whatever your niche is going to really determine what you can write about. And you need to take the time and to go do your search analysis, go do your Google Auto-Suggest, Alphabet Soup stuff to figure out what's going to work and what's available. I mean, that's kind of like saying I have a website in the video or visual arts. What's a good article to rank? It's I don't know. Are you in photography? Are you in painting? Are you oil painting? Anyway, sorry to hit on that too far.
All right, Derek S. says, can you refer a good SEO writer? We have a Project 20. Well, actually, we have several Project 24 members who have started SEO writing services and are doing a great job. One that has been getting great reviews in the community is textgoods.com.
Yep.
Reasonable prices. They're writing in the Project 24 style, the way that we're teaching, and has a really cool guy behind the business. So there are several on Project 24. You should check them out. Of members who have learned what we've learned and are starting text writing businesses. But that's one that gets good reviews anyway from our members.
Somebody's been calling from Ireland. Feel free to give us a call back.
Textgoods.com.
Feel free to give us a call back. You from Ireland? I know you.
We had that already. That was the adult site that made you blush.
No, you had a different one. There was the Ireland guy called in. All right, you're on with Jim and Ricky.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, hey, you guys have been a great inspiration. I really appreciate everything you do.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Excuse me. Had a two-part question, if you don't mind. I have a website that I've had up for about a year in the finance category. Okay. And of course, that's a really tough field. But I wanted to kind of refocus and kind of niche it down a little more and kind of get into more of the making money online type of field. Okay. Do you think that, first of all, is that a decent area to get into? I know that's you guys' primary niche, but it kind of leads me into the second part of my question into, do you guys promote your affiliate program, or is there any more information about that for Project 24?
Okay, we'll take those questions. Okay, so making money online in and of itself is a very crowded niche.
It's hard.
It's very hard.
We've said this a few times,
Yeah.
but Income School has been the slowest to take off website we've ever made. It was hard to
and
get
it
going.
didn't really work until we got into YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, if you want to get into anything finances, making money online being no exception, you got to get on YouTube. And I think a big part of that is not just that it's crowded, but also because it is full of scams. It's full of
people who don't know what they're
dishonesty,
talking
people
about.
that don't know what they're talking about. And being able to get your face in front of people and build rapport is super important in a space where people feel like they're just being taken advantage of all the time. So do I think that it can be a good space to get into?
Heck yes.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Now
But you're joining the big leagues.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Your next question about the affiliate program, it's very simple, very straightforward affiliate program. Just go to incomeschool.com. In the footer menu, there's a link for affiliate program. Just go check it out there. But yeah,
I might say there's some people in there that are killing it. So for Project 24, we have an affiliate program. It's $100 commission per sale. That's like 10 billion times more than you get from an Amazon sale. Anyway, $100 commission per sale, and there are some people that are killing it who are recommending Project 24. So
yep.
Cool.
And if that is your particular niche, and you can build up an audience around making money online and want to promote the
or a
course.
tangential one like WordPress, something. We have some people like doing WordPress tutorials and stuff who then talk about Project 24. It's kind of cool.
Yep.
Anyway.
All right, our call from Ireland finally got through. You're on with Jim and Ricky.
Hi, Jim. Hi, Ricky. Thanks so much. I actually wasn't going to ring back when you said that, so thank you for that.
I'm glad I said that.
My question is, I have a colleague, I'm very interested in starting a business together, so we do a blog, YouTube, and a podcast, but the amount of work that's involved put in is different. I have a lot more free time, she has less, and we're wondering, if it's successful, how do we balance that? We want to kind of set it all up in advance so that there's not any problems with money or, a disagreement about you're not working hard enough, I'm working too hard. We're just wondering what's the best way to manage that.
Awesome, great question. We'll take it on the YouTube Live. Thanks. Yeah, so I'm getting on Jim's case all the time for not working. No, I'm just kidding. I'm actually not, because Jim works really hard, and so do I. I think the really important thing is, if your partner that you're going to work with, your business partner is somebody who cares about this and is going to put in the work. Like Jim and I we both sometimes have the insecurity that I think the other guy's working harder than me.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure I'm doing my part. There are people who are just like, yeah, I'll take me along for the free ride. And then there's some people who are just going to really get after it. And they may have less time than you to put into it. And structuring your business with percentage of ownership based on that, I don't know, that could get dicey.
There are maybe 5 people on planet Earth that I would dare enter into a business partnership with.
Yeah, that's probably true.
It's hard, especially it's hard when the business doesn't mean the same thing to both of you.
Yes.
When it's a big deal for one of the people and it's not a big deal for the other guy. Or one person wants to go full-time in this and the other guy doesn't want it. That's hard. When, it means the same thing to Ricky and I. We both kind of have the same vision for what we want to accomplish financially in the business. And so it's worked really well. We haven't even had a single argument in a partnership. It's worked great for us, but it usually doesn't.
And the thing is that you need to have the kind of relationship with your business partner where you can You can say what you need to say. You
Say
can
what you need to say.
and not have it cause like emotional relationship problems. So there was a time when Jim was working on improved photography most of the time, and I had a normal job most of the time, and we were working on income school sometimes together. And Jim reached a point where he's like, look, I'm ready to take income school to the next level and make this my full-time focus. But I can't do that if you're working a full-time job. You got to do the same thing. So what is our goal? And he did the legwork and was like, here are the options I see for our business going forward. Let's find the right one. And we sat down together with our spouses and we went through those different options and came up with one that was maybe a combination of a couple of options that we felt good with and he felt good with. And we set a timeline and we set certain financial goals. And we said, once we hit that, jobs quit and we're both ready to go full time. But you have to be able to do that with that partner. If you can't have the frank conversations, then, and honestly, in either case, usually what's going to happen is the least interested party is the one who basically gets what they want, right? Because the more interested person is beholden to the less interested person. So
okay, we have a call from Italy and 2 super chats and a Project 24 member. We have
there's
so
3
much here.
super chats.
Okay, so let's take them in order. Chapin4443 says, a Project 24 member, I post articles on forums for my niche, and articles jump up in views, 600 to 800 bump, but die off after a couple days. Are the forums worth it? Currently, blog is at 2,000 page views. Yeah, I think it's probably worth it to get that initial bump on your site. I think doing that early promotion makes sense. As you scale, it's probably going to stop making sense at some point.
yes. What video editor software do you use? From Adam Prieto. We use Final Cut Pro. That's the one we use.
It's Mac only though.
Yeah, it's Mac only and it's great.
All right, John Morris, $50 super chat. Thank you. That's really cool. Just saying thank you. Been blogging for 10 plus years and already work full time from home with this. But I've learned so much from you guys in the last few months. Since I found you, my business is going to a whole new level as a result. Dude, what a cool guy. Thank you. We really appreciate that.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
That's just awesome.
Thank you. Joshua Serato says, any good direction on finding a niche for email marketing as the only way of communicating for now? I was doing healthy eating, but maybe too saturated.
By the only way of communicating, I mean, are we not blogging?
Right, that's what I was wondering.
So with an email list, you have to attract people to the email list from somewhere. So a blog works great for an email list if you do a good job with the blog of giving people a reason to sign up for the email list. Finding a niche that works really well for email marketing, like we're not doing, I'm assuming we're saying we're not doing like YouTube and other stuff, and social media, right? We've got a blog and email marketing. You can make that work with most niches as long as they're not one of those ones that just requires major rapport, I think, and that have major trustworthiness issues. I think that's the one that came up with the making money online earlier, is some niches, everybody knows that most people in that niche are just total scammers. And so if you're not in one of those spaces and you're not in an overly crowded space like healthy eating, which is very crowded, you can make it work. Our outdoor stuff, pets, hobbies, a lot of informational stuff. Email marketing is the primary means of communicating with your audience. It can work very well.
Cool. I just wanted to say thanks again to John Morris. That was really, really nice, I thought.
You didn't see, but Mower Man, he gave us $10 to go get a taco. So
hey, all right. I love
lunch on him earlier.
Cool.
And whoever was calling from Italy, we now can take your call. I know you've called several times.
All right.
Man.
Yeah, we're mowing through this. We only have
Final 8.
8 left. Wow. Okay. Okay. I have a 2-week-old website and articles are deranking. Even the homepage is showing on the second page of Google Any Solution. No worries. Just ignore this. When your site is new, even in the first several months, and even on an established site, when you put out a particular new piece of content, you'll see that article shoot up to number 10, and then it'll just be unranked for 2 weeks. And then it'll come back, and it will go crazy. This is Google doing user testing. They have denied this before that that's what they're doing, but it's what they're doing. They want to know what the click-through rate is going to be on that article. They want to know how long people are going to stay there, all that kind of stuff. And so you're going to see things bouncing around wildly on new content and new websites. So just ignore it.
Yep, just go with it. This is a good question because there's some kind of misunderstanding maybe around this. All people tell me that content is king, so why is SEO required? My answer to that is content is SEO. That's a big part of it. Okay. There are some things like meta tagging and stuff that's like the SEO of yesteryear. That stuff is not so necessary anymore because Google can identify it. But the purpose behind all that stuff, the meta tagging and all that, was to help Google know what your content was about. Google is doing a better and better job all the time of just recognizing it from what's in the content. The point behind what we do is in understanding Google's algorithm, understanding what it is that signals to Google what should be ranked high, in addition to understanding like what it is that users like that helps their behavior, which tells Google that your content should rank high. All of that is SEO, but it's all around the content, in content SEO. So writing a good post that's really good for a user, that has some images, and not doing things that are going to make your content hard for Google to find, all of that is part of SEO. And if you have good content and you hide it from Google, that's no good either. But you don't have to do a lot of the technical SEO stuff that some people are pitching and selling. We do so many consults where somebody says, I have spent $10,000 on SEO gurus and my traffic hasn't gone up at all. And so there's a lot of that SEO stuff that people are still teaching that is totally not valuable at all. Focus on the in-content SEO.
Okay, we got a question. What do we think about Ghost CMS as a platform? I'm sorry, Rowan. I don't know anything about it. I'm sorry. I don't know the first thing about it. Something I'd like to investigate. Abraham Prieto says, how do you use Google Search Console? I don't get in there a ton, honestly.
Yeah.
Google Analytics we use a lot more than Google Search Console. And Google Search Console we really use for a few times a year, kind of check on things like, we'd get a notification also, but that's where you'd find out if you had some kind of manual penalty or there were some kind of crawl error or something like that is in there. So that's probably the most valuable part, is in case something like that happened. The way that most people are using it is, to track rankings, which they're squirrely about in there. I like to track them using Managed WP anyway. And then things like, how many views and what's your click-through rate, which I still haven't got for that guy. It's hard to do all in life. But that kind of information is in there. But I just care a lot more about what's in Google Analytics because that's what's actually happening on my site right now. All right. Oh, I hung up on Milwaukee. I'm so sorry.
Try again.
Okay. E-Lansing Success, we know her. My husband sells paintings through a Shopify store, but doesn't like to post Project 24 articles on there. What's the best way to get qualified buyers to his store? I mean, you might try paid ads. You may try YouTube. You may try just social media with something like Pinterest on paintings. You got to get this guy blogging.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay, Fantastic Travels blog. If I join Project 24, could I use the course to boost my current sites, and could I get help with switching the theme to Akabato and alignment of posts, etc.? Yeah, we get, a lot of people that join Project 24 have existing sites. All you'll really do is skip the first 7 steps, where we're talking about just how to set up the site. Just skip the first 7 steps, and then all the other courses, everything else in the 60 steps is all going to be relevant to you.
And in the community, we have a whole category in the community now about Akabato. So if there's like something specific you want to do in Akabato, chances are somebody in Project 24 has already figured out a hack. And it's been great because we're getting good feedback in there that we're using to post new support content up and getting a lot of feedback through there. So yeah, you're going to get all the help you need.
And I will say, Akabato launch is going great. We're really excited about it. The vast majority of people are seeing great things. There will always be bug reports and edge cases to look at, which we're looking at and we're going to keep working on. But this theme overall is being very clean and being good for people.
All right, welcome. You're on the phone with Jim and Ricky.
And getting a lot of feedback.
Hey, you there?
So, anything on that?
I guess not. All
You
right.
got nervous. You're scared. There's Ricky. Oh. Sean Manaher sent a $20 super chat. Thank you. Very cool. Thanks, guys. I have an Amazon affiliate product website, readingdeals.com. Everybody check that out in the new tab, readingdeals.com. That's now at 100,000 page views a month. Kabam! Would you include additional ad brokers to it, even though there's not much content to break up ads? Okay, let's check out readingdeals.com. So he's wondering about having more than one ad broker for the site. Sometimes that can work. Sometimes you can have it so I'm not seeing any ads. Are you seeing ads?
No, there's no ads visible here on the homepage.
Let's see. I'm
So-
looking through a few things.
So this site feels mostly like it's more like a portal.
Recommendations,
Yeah,
yeah.
portal to recommendations for books and stuff. And so placing, I think what he's asking about here is like, should I be placing ads on here even though there's no content to break up the ads?
Oh, I would. There are ads on Amazon.
Yeah.
There are ads everywhere. Like Amazon is already selling you products and they have ads on the page. Ads are just really valuable. And so, I mean, if I owned this website, the thing that I would do in the first 30 seconds of owning it would be email AdThrive and say, please, can we get an approval here? So yeah, I definitely would. So let's do some math here. We're getting 100,000 page views, so 100,000s. And let's say we get an ad RPM of $15 per 1,000 page views. I mean, we just earned $1,500 a month from like no effort. And I was concerned adding ads to my website that it would hurt my sales and things like that. I just saw no change. People are blind to ads.
What do you think about Ravinda Parikh asks, what do you think about the gardening niche from an ad monetization perspective? Is it realistic to expect a $10 RPM? And are there any bad niches from an ad perspective?
Yeah.
There are definitely bad niches from an ad perspective. Anything that's going to be pretty controversial, weapons and violence, adult niches are harder. You have to find the right ad brokers or the ad providers for those.
Dating websites that attract an audience outside the United States generally don't earn as much.
Yep. Gardening, that's a very clean niche. I think that what your RPM is going to be based on a lot, though, is just who is your audience. So if the content that you write about gardening attracts an audience that has disposable income, if any niche that's attracting mostly like 12-year-old kids is not going to do well with ads. But if what you are attracting is mostly like grown-ups, right? People that are looking to spend some money on something to help solve their problem or improve their life, you're going to do really well with ads. So, all right, we got a question coming in from the UK. You're on with Jim and Ricky.
Hi guys, my name's Alan. I've got a gardening niche site. I found a lot of some keywords to target, but just a lot of the posts that are currently there are kind of like tool manufacturers and things like that. So I'm just wondering if it's going to be possible to outrank them.
Outranking a tool manufacturer. Thanks for the question. We'll take it on the YouTube Live.
We outrank companies for their own keywords all the time.
Yep.
All the time. Where it's like, it's clearly somebody's asking a question to you about whatever, a jet ski. And it's, how to fix this jet ski. I don't know why I thought of that example. But we'll outrank the manufacturer of that jet ski regularly. And so I don't think it's impossible. Is it stiff competition? Yeah.
Yeah.
But is it possible? Oh yeah.
Think about like what you're trying to rank for. Like I'm not going to write an article with the headline that's like
how to use Miracle Grow. Because
yes.
Miracle Grow is going to kill me.
Of course.
For that.
Well, and just like for a particular jet ski, I'm not going to say like jet ski brand and model user's guide. Okay, they have a user's guide. And so if I do want to create a user's guide that I think is way better than theirs, I'm going to give it a little bit of a better headline. Because here's what's going to happen. If they do have a user guide or they have a maintenance guide or whatever it is, and people go to it and it's not helpful, what are they going to do? Even if theirs ranks number 1, what do? They bounce and then they go to number 2. And so if your article ranks number 2 for something that the number 1 ranking article is only ranking because the manufacturer created the content, you're still going to get a lot of traffic. So I think there's a ton of value in writing that kind of content, and just know that you absolutely can outrank them if your content's better.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, Andre1687 says, won't niches that you recommend on YouTube be competitive? What if you happen to be wanting to do one of those? We just outed his niche. Man, just don't be too concerned with this.
Yes.
I really don't. Like, I totally get it, right? Like, it feels like if you're opening up a flower shop and somebody just opened a flower shop next to you, when you hear somebody who's working on the same niche as you, just remember, it's like, just because there's a flower shop in New York doesn't mean you shouldn't open a flower shop in Boise or 3 streets down the road. There could be a lot of flower shops in New York, and there could be a lot in the world. So, something like, I sometimes see people, or we'll meet people, and they'll like whisper to us like, my niche is cycling. It's like, there are so many bicycles in this world. If I created bike content for the rest of my lifetime, I couldn't fill that niche. And if Freddie and Ricky and I did it, we still wouldn't even be close. There can be a lot of websites about cycling. Now, there are times where it does kind of make a difference. If I'm making a website on something really specific and unique, where there really may not be any other website on the topic, it matters more, right? But it's just hard to think of a niche that couldn't have 50 websites in it.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't concern yourself with it too much out there. Abraham Prieto says, GSC, don't know what that means. Good
Google Search
sucker. Oh.
In sort moment, they're going to provide a bunch of keyword and they don't have it in your post. So you have to include or create a new article from it. Okay, so this is about keywords, right? They have a list of a bunch of keywords that will, don't get hung up on keywords, I think is what we would say on that. It's not about the specific keywords. Keyword stuffing is an old school technique. What we need to focus on is topics. If they say that there's a keyword that you should be able to rank for with your website, just go with that as a topic for the blog post, independent of what words you actually use in the blog post.
All right, hey, now you're on.
You're on. Sorry, we're finishing
100th caller.
We were finishing a last question, so you're up. Yeah, we're here. Can you hear us?
I feel like I should be giving you a gift certificate to the local spa or something, because you're the 100th caller.
How you doing?
Good.
So I've got a site called gazebojungle.com, and I was wondering if you guys could have a look at it, have a look at the layout, and maybe give some pointers.
It's gazebojungle.com.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna take a look on
quick
the
look.
site.
This is the 100th one, so this will be the last of the day.
Last
right?
one. So
All
sad.
right.
This has been fun.
This has actually
guys.
been really
I'm having
fun.
a good time.
Okay, so you want to know about the layout and just overall thoughts about it. So I've got Gazebo Jungle up. If you guys are watching right now, go pull it open in another tab so you can take a look. You got a big slider across the top. I think it looks pretty good.
The thing that I'm always jumping to when we're doing these is I want to look at the search analysis. That is to me, like having looked at so many sites, like that's the thing that's going to make or break the site usually. So jumping at that. So let's look at a few. Are shade sails waterproof? Do I think that could work? Yeah, people want to know about that.
Yep.
Sure.
And if I just Google that, right? Well, it comes up as an auto suggest.
That's good.
That's
good.
good.
Sign.
That means people are searching for that. There's a post here that's got the snippet, but that's okay. It's the best shade sail will never be completely waterproof.
Yeah, so there's some content on this, but I would consider it a good article to write.
got-
It's mostly like in a lot of articles. There's nothing specific.
Right. I see several product pages on Amazon that aren't necessarily informational. They're just to go buy a product. So yeah, I think that was a pretty good one. I do see a couple of here like best sensory swings for children with reviews.
That seems random. What does that have to do with gazebos?
Yeah, maybe that's
sensory
the problem.
swings.
What do you know what that is?
Isn't that like a mobile or something for babies?
No, this is an indoor pod swing.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I didn't know.
I wouldn't
that.
have known.
There
that.
are no images in post. I definitely want some images. That
Yeah.
can impact your SEO. That is a factor that it has images. Fill out your bio on the article. This kind of best stuff, just be careful with it. Don't not write it, but just be careful. Especially that one could have some competition. A lot of kids stuff does.
Yeah.
You know, best yurts, shade sails versus pergolas. I think the search analysis looks reasonably well done here. So yeah, I think the site overall is looking good.
Yeah, I think you're off to a great start. It looks like 20 plus articles that you've written already. So yeah, keep it up. I do see your early articles, just a lot of specific product reviews. Those I probably would steer away from most of the time. Unless it's a really popular product and you have an audience that wants to know what you think about it. Simply because you're limiting yourself to how many people are searching for Sunjoy gazebo reviews. It's a specific gazebo. And not only that, if I'm looking at reviews, I probably would rather see what 20 people on Amazon said than what one blogger said who's obviously trying to sell me the product.
You guys, thank you so much for participating in this 100-person YouTube Live. We are there. I just want to wish everybody luck on your website. What you're doing is hard.
It is.
It takes a lot of self-confidence. It takes a lot of work to believe in yourself that you can get to where you want to be. We're seeing people getting there all the time, and we want you to be one of them. That's the whole purpose of Income School, is to help make you successful. So thanks everybody for joining us, even despite our heavily pixelated stream and very long distance. We hope long time we've been on here, but thanks everybody for joining in. And we will see you on Monday at 7 a.m. when we always send out our new video.